public. And then should be on the interwebs now. Oh my god. Again. Woohoo.
Good to go.
Very epic. Let me throw out the tweeticus. Let's give the people some time to arrive. If anything's gonna happen here. Is it doing a thing? I think it's doing a thing.
Oh yeah, it looks like it's up and running.
Okay, I don't know, YouTube sometimes like, yeah, I'm saying it is, but I'm not really.
So, how's everybody doing? Welcome to the Forge.
Yes, hello, what's up? What's up? I'm just trying to find the things here. Yeah,
It's on.
I did a little pre-Forge gaming today. That was fun. Started with Prey 2017.
Oh.
Yeah, I finished Wind Waker last time, finally.
Hey.
And yeah, now I'm just going through. Started Prey 2017, and I've been enjoying it quite a bit so far. It's pretty cool. Lots of things to explore and to find. It's neat. I've been enjoying it.
There are a lot of positive things about it, but I'm still upset about Prey 2.
Prey 2?
Oh yeah, that is the best CGI trailer that's ever been made. So good.
Would I go that far? I do really like it. Would I go that far?
I don't know. For like a CGI trailer for a video game, like most of them are not particularly good, and I love that one. I think it's amazing. It works on its own as just like a little CGI short film.
Are you including like the League of Legends ones, like the Arcane hype up ones?
Well, I mean, Arcane's not like a
not
trailer for a game.
The ones that similar, they're kind of like inspired Arcane. A lot of people say, but like the CGI ones that they have for that game.
Oh, I mean, to be fair, I haven't seen much of the Arcane art outside of Arcane itself. So, but then again, I was never like a big League player. So, okay.
I think you're talking about the League of Legends shorts that were released every couple of years.
Yeah, a lot of people say that's kind of what inspired Arcane to some degree. It's like, hey, you can make a show out of this. This is like, you know.
Is it the same studio, like Fortiche, that did it?
If you haven't seen them, you should check them out. Just since you seem to like them, they're really, really.
Cool.
I've probably seen that at some point, but it's been a while.
Either way, though, the Rusty Cage, Johnny Cash cover Prey 2 trailer was at least one of the best trailers ever for a video game that was never actually made. I think that's a safer claim.
I'd say that probably is a safer claim. It's just, man, my Space Bounty Hunter game, it didn't. No, it did not. It never materialized.
Yeah. And there was a gameplay video of it too, and it seemed like all the crazy kind of slide mechanics and mobility stuff that he does in the trailer are things that were in the game. It looked like a lot of fun.
There's a big sad story about why that game never released.
Well, I don't know it. So sad.
Ooh, I got a trailer to send you.
Oh my god, a full trailer? That's crazy talk. Crazy talk.
We can't play it though, because if the video doesn't get us claimed, the song absolutely will.
Oh, classic. Push the fat man.
Fucking so fun having to dance around this stupid copyright nonsense. Like, oh my god.
Because I started editing my video. And I've been reminded how annoying this stupid 7 seconds or 5 seconds, whatever it is now is.
I know.
It's going to be fun uploading. See, it's like, is this fine this way? Or is it just going to be something? We'll see. It's like when you get to a place like I could just play this all because it just works as background, but I have to like weirdly cut around it because otherwise I get in trouble. It's just so stupid.
Yeah. And knowing when you need to and when you don't need to is just frustrating. Like everyone kind of develops their own systems around copyright, but for the most part, the one consistent thing is that none of us know what the fuck's going on, and we're just trying our best.
Yeah, it's just makes the flow of some things you cut together like weird. It's like can I just play it in full? It's like, why are you making this so hard? Oh well. Bud. Today.
Speaking of hard motherfuckers, what about Commando?
Yes. I'm
working on my segues.
You just completely ruined my train of thought. Fuck.
Hey, not perfect yet. We gotta work harder. I get it.
Yeah, no, today we got something fun, obviously, if you read the title. We go way back in time. And yeah, we're gonna talk about the good old Arnie movie. Is that the one he was like... Was he already like pretty famous at that point, or not?
Yeah, this was
the year after Terminator, so
okay,
that's something to bear in mind.
This would have been one of the ones that, like, during his big come up.
Mm-hmm.
And Predator's 87, right? So it was right before that.
Yeah.
Well, it's a busy time in his career. He was making a lot of movies.
Yeah,
like
two movies
one or two big movies every year as well.
I think he's
not
going
small ones.
Quite crazy at this time.
This was the time of sort of aggressively transitioning from bodybuilding to being an actor.
Mm-hmm.
For anyone who's not aware, there's a really good Netflix documentary with Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's really cool. I watched it last year. I think it was really
It's a really cool documentary, and also he wrote a self-help book that was somewhat autobiographical as well. That kind of went through a lot of the similar stuff that was being talked about in there, but framed in the "Hey, here's how you succeed at life, champ."
Yeah.
So yeah,
he just comes. When you watch it, you're like, oh wow, he's like really normal. he's like pretty chill, apparently, from what you see.
Arnold is a really, really cool dude. He's even involved in the strongman and bodybuilding stuff to this day. Like there's something called the Arnold Classic.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a strongman competition that's basically the second most prestigious, and it's named after him. So like the amount of work.
Sorry, go ahead. I thought you were done after named after him. Go ahead.
No, the amount of work he's put in that, the bodybuilding industry, powerlifting, and the movie industry is just incredible. Like he's a legend.
Yeah, the only thing I was going to say is I use the shoulder workout that was named after him for pretty much every time I do shoulders. Arnold's with dumbbells, they're good stuff. It's like a upward press, like a military press with a dumbbell, but you twist as you go up. You can kind of start them with a curl too if you want to get the bicep in there.
Yeah, he's an innovator, man.
Good stuff. Yeah, he seems pretty chill. It's a good documentary. It's like, I think it's first goes through his bodybuilding thing, then the second part is movie stuff, and then the third part is like personal life / all the political stuff he was doing as the governor.
I almost forget that entire history of his story. Like, oh yeah, this guy was governor for a brief period of time.
For a pretty long time as well. It wasn't like
he was a Republican governor of California, funny enough, which sounds wild to say now.
But yeah, I don't even know like how do you start this? Like, this is like watching this movie is like, man, this is like this has like this feeling about it, you know? Like 1985, it has like this look, the specific.
It is a time capsule.
It really is.
It's like this was getting smacked in the face with the 80s. It's like, holy shit.
When I think of like Commando as a Arnie film, I very much think of it for the meme factor because it's got so many really entertaining one-liners.
It really does.
It's just a meme.
This is one of the best ones. This one is chock full of just action comedy where the comedy is played kind of straight within world, but it's undoubtedly hilarious.
It is. It is a really funny movie. Yeah.
I think I should mention this at the. Sorry, go ahead, Frankie.
No, go for it.
No, I think I should mention this at the beginning. This was my first time seeing Commando. For some reason, I just must have just not caught it as a child. Like all the other ones, the classic Arnie movies, I'd seen plenty of times. And just see, oh my goodness! Like I said, a smack in the face with the 80s, and just seeing the every opportunity they took to just show off his muscles, to just do the most, and just how ridiculously over the top everything was.
Yeah.
The damsel in distress chick oh man, I got so much to say about that lady. But definitely an interesting blast from the past. And
it's fun. The thing is, I've probably seen it as a child at some point, but I didn't remember anything except the memes from this movie. Like I just remember the blow off some steam. It's like I lied, like all this stuff.
Everyone remembers that line, and the I lied. That's another great one.
Yeah.
I actually used that in one of my earliest videos.
That's like one of the best Arnold Schwarzenegger like jokes, gags, one-liners ever.
Yeah,
I love it. It's so good,
fantastic.
especially the sound
what
when
he's
he lets him
saying
go.
is horrifying, though. Like that's the thing. Like it actually is a very scary thing he's doing and saying, but it's so funny at the same time.
Yeah.
And of course the bit on the plane. God damn.
Yeah. Please don't bother my friend.
Don't wake up my friend. He's dead tired.
I don't know what it is. It's just the way, the fact that okay, so what's the conception of the sequence here? So he needs to get on a plane, but he needs to get off the plane, so he's got to stop this guy.
Oh my god.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm gonna ask for a blanket and a pillow, and then I'm gonna smack him in the face, snap his neck, and then pose it so that he's sleeping, and tell him, "Hey, look, leave him alone. He's dead tired." And then jump out of the plane.
The people in front don't even react like whatsoever. There's a lady like literally sitting right in front of him.
Brooks, that's what I was going to address. If you kind of watch the way the sound design's done in the movie, the paper thin excuse they're giving is that because the lady's explaining the safety protocols on the airplane,
yeah, right.
No
She didn't notice someone getting battered behind her.
Yeah,
because that was actually really funny. I'm like, how's he gonna get out of this? Oh,
I was like, I see that they tried a little. They were just like, how are we going to make a distraction that the entire plane is going to be involved in? And
this man's plot armor. Holy shit.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they didn't give a fuck.
That's the thing. It's something that I find interesting when watching the film is that in a lot of ways, on the one hand, it is very much laden with a lot of the tropes that people, that eventually started getting parodied, right? The whole, the helicopter lands. We need you again. I gave that up.
Oh my god.
It has this weird quality where it feels like the film is aware of these tropes before they'd even really been recognized in tropes. And is kind of in on the joke, kind of self-aware, which is kind of this interesting thing because I don't think it was.
No,
but it
probably
really
not.
feels like it is.
I think it does seem.
I completely agree with that.
It seems more self-aware than a lot of the other Schwarzenegger movies of similar. I don't know. I guess quality.
I think it's because it's very much it is a comedy as well as an action movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying.
Definitely trying to make you laugh.
Well, and
I couldn't believe that
Alyssa Milano playing the daughter, I think having her be a sitcom star at the time from Who's the Boss was probably a way to say, hey, if you like that funny family show, what if Tony Danza was Arnold fucking Schwarzenegger?
But yeah, it's just such an you start the movie, it's like, oh wow, that's 90 minutes. That's nice and crisp. I always get so excited when I have a movie and it's like, oh, that's not 2.5 hours long. I said it every time that happens, but it's just nice because it just goes well together.
Oh yeah, I was happy to see it was 90 minutes.
It flies by.
It flies
really
by.
Fast.
It's so simple as well. I mean, you already touched on it with oh yeah, retired veteran commando man, basically. The movie starts out with oh, here's this guy. He kills 3 people, and then you see Arnie with his daughters. Yeah, we're just chilling out. We're just having a great time and some ice cream and stuff.
Yeah,
it's so cookie cutter.
The deer?
Yeah.
Come on, we gotta give some love to the deer scene. They're just feeding a deer, petting it. It's this guy couldn't be more not the bad guy's problem if they tried.
Yeah.
It
was the ice cream scene that got me. Her poking him with the ice cream and them laughing, having a good old laugh. Oh my god! This was.
When you watch this, it's one of the scenes where it's oh man, I hope nothing horrible is gonna happen to anyone.
I know. It's just funny looking at it's so cookie cutter. There's this. They didn't. There's a. We've come a long way when it comes to setting these things up because I laugh at movies like Taken and whatnot. Even John Wick's dog, they put more effort into those things nowadays than this. This is you'll have your plot set up within the first 6 minutes, and they'll just slap it together. It's crazy.
Yeah, and it's oh, you know what, John? You're he was called John, right?
John Matrix.
Okay, I was about to say
Colonel
very much hero man.
Yeah, John
Matrix.
Hero man.
Very Austrian sounding name.
And the guy is basically like, you know what, your men are getting killed. I have like 2 soldiers here for you to protect you. So yeah, just watch out. I'll do all the paperwork, and then yeah, we're gonna figure it out. You can go back to work. And then we have like the whole thing. It's like the daughter's like, I hope you said you're never gonna go away. It's like, oh, I won't. I promise.
Well, I mean, like, really, what I thought was kind of nice is General Kirby wasn't saying, "Hey, we need you to take this guy out." He was saying, "No, we're just going to give you some protection, and like we have other teams. You weren't the only commando ever, and don't worry, we'll take care of it. You're not going to be in trouble." But the thing is, they'd already had the drop on them.
Exactly. Because immediately after he leaves, they go inside. There's a guy in the bushes and starts shooting at them.
Yeah, it's about a minute after he's left. It's already shit hits the fan.
Like this is all the setup. This is like all the setup. We are already like, yeah, action is starting. And this guy comes out of the bushes, shoots everyone to bits.
Immediately once the helicopter is relatively out of earshot.
Yeah.
Guns start firing. Like it's like the chopper was just there.
Sort of indicative of the brisk, bare bones nature of how the story is going to be progressing. It's essentially, well, it is the essentials and nothing more than that.
Yeah.
Here's why these guys are here. This is the thing that's going to spur him to into action. He has a very clear goal that he needs to achieve.
Exactly.
And then of course a very specific ticking clock as well.
Yep.
Which is all like pretty
down
normal.
to
That's the thing. It's like
it's
all very normal.
Yeah.
Obviously, like the nature of the action scenes and like the general premise is pretty bonkers, but it's still essentially bound by like pretty normal narrative beats and it's I'd say it's like decently effective. It's like enough of a reason for the story to progress and to sort of justify an array of like action scenes at a particularly rapid pace as well, since it's such a short amount of time that he actually has to save his daughter.
Yeah, it's effectively 11 hours condensed down to 90 minutes.
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah, because from here on out, it's basically just full on time limit action scenes, pretty much.
Yeah, the only time we're skipping is travel time, and that's pretty much it. And even then, sometimes things happen on the road.
Is that there was a level of dynamism to the nature of the ticking clock, because it's not simply, well, you've got 11 hours to do whatever you want. It's okay, you've gotten out of the plane, so that's your 11 hours. Now you got to go find Sully, and then as soon as he gets seen by him, it's like, oh shit, all right, well now you've got this crazy variable of you've got to specifically stop him. Then you need to get information out of him to find your next guy. To then actually, it's like. It's not simply 11 hours to do whatever he wants. It's like even within the span of the ticking clock, there are other ticking clocks that are essentially, you know, he needs to go.
Because the mechanic in the story is that any person seeing him not on that plane will immediately find a payphone, because it's the 1980s. There are not cell phones around that were not very common. And so you've kind of got an undetermined but very... very limited timeline, because it's like, if this guy gets out of my sight and gets to a phone, we're done. Like my daughter's dead.
I think that's one of the more interesting parts of the beginning, like seeing him work his way around that. Like even the joke on the plane knocking the guy out, just like understanding the little steps he has to take to make sure he protects his daughter, because just, you know, like you said, he gets sighted by one of these guys and it's over.
Kirby even sets it up when they say like, oh, like, is there any bodies? Like, we didn't find John Matrix. It's like, will there be any other bodies? It's like, yeah, I'm expecting like a shitload more. Like you don't get it. If he's alive, he's going to kill them all. I know this guy.
The role that he has in the story is he's really cool, you guys. Seriously.
Yeah, like you don't get it. Like, there's a reason I didn't want to let this guy go, and that he's earned his retirement with his daughter. Okay, both are true.
Yeah.
So if he's decided, it's the John Wick premise. Exactly. It's the guy in retirement who's like, okay, you pulled me back in by picking at my vulnerable point. For John Wick, it's the dog. For John Matrix, it's his daughter.
But this is 85 though, and like Fergie said, it almost feels like they're self-aware, which is so weird when it comes to this movie. Like, is there a lot? Like, is there anything you could reference before this specifically that
I think I would.
This is one of the Like when I think action movies, this is definitely one of the ones that comes to mind. Like this
well,
is
here,
most peak 80
did
movies.
Rambo 2 come before this? Okay, yeah, Escape from New York very likely did. Hold on one sec.
Well,
And
I mean, you can obviously see the
setup,
Rambo influence in getting him his own machine gun, like, you know, sequence, topless, firing it off. I mean, it's something that Schwarzenegger has talked about, was the competition between him and Sylvester Stallone of like who's like the top action star of the time.
Yeah, Escape from New York was 81, so the badass who's retired and is being like pulled back into it by a circumstance is definitely a thing that had been done before, at least in like not exact terms, but similar terms. And I'm just trying to look up First Blood.
Escape from New York is a little bit more it's a bit different to Commando, I suppose.
Yeah, and that's why I'm looking at the Rambo movies, because but like I get the only similarity, it's like this guy isn't supposed to be doing anything anymore, and he's brought back for one mission. Though in Escape from New York, his motivation is that he's under duress, like his head's going to explode if he doesn't do the thing. Whereas this badass is being brought back in by a very personal motivation, pretty much the one thing that could get him back in, because he's like, no, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not leaving my daughter. Oh shit, they took my daughter. You guys are fucked.
Yeah, because the whole thing, the whole thing is as well, like he immediately starts to counteract as soon as he can, because he immediately is like, oh, they're gonna kill her anyway, no matter what I do. Because what he basically gets to do here is like, oh, you need to kill the president of what was it? Some country.
I forget. Yeah, it might have been a fictional South American country.
Probably, but yeah, go kill him so our guy here can be the new El Presidente or something. Or we kill your daughter. And he's like, oh, you bastards. And then obviously he's like, yo, we're gonna fly you over there right now. It's gonna take like 11 hours. And that's how we get to our ticking clock, obviously.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's like, all right, the story has begun, and it's begun in like 10-15 minutes. Very, very fast.
Yep.
Yeah.
The quickly Googled synopsis.
Rolled this one out.
The quickly Googled synopsis refers to it as a former Latin American dictator, Arias. No country name. Latin American is where it takes place.
So we got to mention the meme though that we would have skipped over in the house, right? Though, you know, right, wrong.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, yeah, that's a really good premise. The enemy tied to a chair, or not tied to a chair, sorry, sitting in a chair. I'm getting the drop on the enemy, on Arnold, giving him the premise of, I'm the only one who has information that could save your daughter.
This is the reason why I think the film comes across as being like aware of its tropes, because the whole idea of, you know, we gotta talk to each other and work this out, and then he's just saying nah, and then just shoots him in the face.
Get no information out of the guy. I mean, because the motivation even there in the scene is he glances out and he sees that the cars are still visible and that she's in one of them.
The thing
so he's like, yeah, no, I don't need you because I can still catch her. Fuck you.
It's a meme, but it is characterization. The characterization is he ain't gonna do like what you want him to do. It's just, he's not going to.
Constantly moving forward.
But these scenes only work with a setup, like you said, him seeing the cars at least, so justify it. It's annoying when this happens and they just delete their opportunity for information. So I did like this scene, yeah. Because it's frustrating sometimes when you have this like, oh man, am I gonna see this guy lose all his leverage? Oh, never mind. Just completely, he's not gonna rely on him for help.
Yeah, this guy just made a big mistake, which was thinking, why would he sit here and just keep talking to you when he can go? And then, of course, you know, you even see like they've sabotaged his car, but that still doesn't stop him.
Yeah,
overestimated
down the hill and just fucking goes ham.
It justifies the setting too. It's like
overestimated his leverage for sure.
Being on a mountain makes this scene make a lot more sense than it otherwise would have.
So
and look at like such the dynamic team of psychos, you know. And it just sort of like, I like how it's like his whole unit is just like, you know, it's comprised of him and this like a rando Australian guy, you know, it's just, like part of his team that he commanded, but he was the crazy one. I like how that's basically the gist of it. He's the crazy one who got kicked out by him.
Yeah. It's funny because
I guess it's enough. It's just like you were the one that seemed to really enjoy killing rather than doing it in order to complete the mission. Whereas, like, John Matrix is very much a guy that he has no problem with killing, but it's always in service of a goal.
Well, I mean, basically, like Bennett, his whole characterization is he has an inferiority complex. He needs to prove that he's better than Arnie. That's basically who he
and
is.
this is undoing.
Oh my
Wow,
god!
yeah. I mean, it's his only motivation.
That's only character trait.
I think Bennett is kind of funny the way he looks, because they also portray him as the other super commando guy who's like super good, and then you have Arnie like super muscular, fit, and Bennett looks like
this guy.
Bennett has like a bit of a belly, and he's like,
Flab.
Wearing chainmail, the chainmail.
Total dad bod.
Yeah,
it's cut. His chainmail vest too is cut in a way that accentuates the belly. It's like really narrow up in the shoulder.
When they're fighting, you just see Arnie, just this massive bodybuilder, and they're trying to pretend that they're even in terms of their strength.
You just you're forced to pretend like you're just stuck in a situation. Like, oh man, I'm not gonna go so far as miscast, but like the design choices for him really didn't help him at all. Like you can't take him seriously at all with the flabby arms and like.
He's funny with his knife all the time. So,
and I love the perm on the black dude. This guy he had like 2 lines.
Do you know anything about that actor? Like, was he big in Australia?
He was in Mad
80s?
Max too, I think.
Oh, was he?
Yeah. Which one was he?
I'm checking this out.
Oh, was he the police chef guy? No, wait, that wasn't one.
Was he the guy in the Jason mask? Just walk away. Is that him?
He was Wes.
I believe it. That guy was pretty on the chubby side.
I'm now thinking of that. Just walk away, and I remember the one at South Park where it's just Butters.
Yeah,
he just
Butters
puts on the mask, and then he just sounds exactly like him. Just
Everyone's
walk away.
That Butters can
you
talk
can put
like
a stop to all this. Just walk away, and we will spare your lives. Just walk away.
Vernon Wells is the actor. Yeah,
wow,
it looks like he
really
was Wes. Oh, so Wes, he was the guy with the mohawk, like that his boyfriend dies at the beginning of the movie, right?
I can't remember. It's actually been a really long time since I've seen the.
Oh, did we not get
Mad
Fringy
Max.
on a Road Warrior episode? We probably should have. Yeah, well.
What? Because I'm Australian, I gotta be on the Mad Max.
Well, exactly. I mean, I'd appreciate invites when you're doing Canadian shit.
Well, so like if we ever cover Scott Pilgrim, it's like, well, yeah. I mean, I guess
exactly. Like, okay, Fringy. If you ever cover Scott Pilgrim, understand this. I was a bass player in a band in the early 2000s in Toronto.
As soon as I said it, I was like, wait, that actually be like really good.
Like that was a crazy movie. It's like the Toronto fairy tale.
I gotta think of some other Canadian film.
I've read the whole manga too, or
would be
comic
less,
because it's forward.
I gotta think of some other Canadian film.
The British guy directed it though.
Your film industry has been totally in a sense like amalgamated by America. So
we're the set for a lot of Chicago and New York based things.
The Boys is filmed too. Toronto, though, right?
Actually, my cousin Vanessa is in that movie that came out with Josh Hartnett, the Shyamalan movie.
Trap.
Oh, is it?
I think that's what it's called.
Oh, Trap. Oh, sorry. I thought you said it was crap.
I said it was crap.
Oh, no, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, that's absolutely what I heard. But here, I'll throw it up.
Oh yeah,
Vanessa Smythe's her name.
That's a new one that's gonna come out. Oh boy.
Yeah, it was just on her Instagram. I was like, holy shit. I was like, that's Josh Hartnett. And then I was like, oh man, she's in this movie.
Do you think the twist is gonna be that the child is the murderer or something?
I have no idea.
I actually like Josh Hartnett.
Yeah, no, Josh Hartnett's great. The last time I saw him recently was in Black Mirror. He's in an episode with Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad. The premise is actually pretty cool, and it was the only episode of that season I enjoyed because it's them on a deep space mission. Like they're the only 2 people on this deep space ship, and they have a VR rig essentially and avatars, like android avatars of themselves on Earth, so they can spend time with their family.
That kind of sounds interesting because
things go
Black Mirror is so hit or miss. Yeah, I was gonna say, don't tell me any more than that. I might check it out.
This was the watchable Black Mirror episode of that season. The rest of them were pretty bad.
Did you ever watch USS Callister from the first or second season?
That one was okay, but that was kind of the first time that Black Mirror really went for funny, and I think that there's been too much of that in the recent entries in it. Though that one was all right. That was with what's his name, Jesse Plemons.
Oh yeah,
also from Breaking Bad. Anyways, Commando.
Yes. So yeah, they tell him they should do all the shenanigans with that unnamed country and kill the guy. They bring him to the plane immediately, and they actually do cover their bases. Like, yeah, there's one guy waiting outside, checking if they go out. The other guy comes with him in the flight, chills with him the whole time. Because, like, what is he supposed to do as soon as the flight starts? Like, it's not like he can just jump out of the plane. Well,
I think that's what I find funny about it, is it's like, for as over the top as it is, I mean, really, like, it is kind of a remarkable thing that he managed to do that they probably had no reason to believe was like something that he could possibly do. Because
like, yeah, this flight is gonna be 11 hours long. We're gonna wait until the plane is basically at takeoff. So yeah, what is he supposed to do? It's like, well, he knocks out the guy, breaks his neck, makes sure the other lady said, "Oh, don't disturb him. He's dead tired."
Yeah, they can't plan around him being completely OP. Like, they did their job.
I think it's that Sully even like stays there until the plane actually takes off, which is really more than he would have needed to do, but he did that anyway.
Yeah, he waited quite a while. But no, good old man Matrix, he makes his way to the cargo area of the plane, where also the the tires are like getting put in, or I'm missing the word right now.
The landing gear.
The landing gear, yeah. For the landing gear goes back up, and it just holds on. It's like, oh well, there's some water there, so I'll wait until I'm like a little bit in the air and just go into the water. At this point,
he's so lucky. Like literally 2 more seconds of height, and he's like, you're done.
Yeah, because the landing gear is already getting retracted again, right? So
I love that the premise of how John Matrix figured that out is just that he's got really good instincts about where to go and what to do at any given time.
At all times.
Yeah, so he yeets himself out of the off of the plane and lands in some water, and then he just goes back to the
and then he literally starts the ticking clock just so that we can all keep
pretty much,
so that we know how long he's got.
He has this little watch there, and goes like beep beep beep, 11 hours, boom, and there's our ticking clock exactly. Yeah, it's just like it's quite remarkable that even the silly movies back then made sure it's like, yeah, at least make some kind of sense, so you don't have to.
Well, yeah, that's the thing is, even though there's a lot that's really funny about the movie and it's over the top and it's got a lot of stretches and insane plot armor, is that at its core it's got like a pretty straightforward premise that that like in some sense it expects you to buy into a little bit. The idea of like, look at this guy, he's a really super duper strong and capable guy, and he's got his daughter and he loves her and he wants to go and rescue her, and let's find a way to make that basically the whole point of the movie as a justification to enable all of the action scenes, but like to constantly have that be on his mind as like a motivator and something, you know, that she's like in constant peril in a sense, because it's like we said, getting off the plane is just the start. Now it's like, well, you got to find her, and you can never be essentially caught and allow a bad guy to get away, because then it's already over.
Because that's what all the stakes are based on in this thing, and they make sure to let us know. It's like, oh, I only have this much time. Like even later when they figure out, oh, we need to get to this random island. It's like, how long would it takes us to get there? It's like, well, 2 hours by plane. It's like, okay, so we got 4 hours. We need to go grab some guns and then basically need to make our way there. And he arrives there basically exactly when the timer runs out, which is obviously also a trope.
Well, and there's also that it does the thing as well that he kind of gets put on the back foot on several occasions because he doesn't have access to resources, and then eventually finds himself just getting into trouble and being like unable to contact the people that he needs to contact to get him the help that he needs. So even though he's basically not even an underdog at all, like in practice, especially, you know, with the amount of plot armor that he gets, it still kind of puts him in an underdog position.
Yeah, it's definitely.
I think it's just that he views everything as a minor obstacle on the way to his goal, no matter what situation.
Well, I suppose that's the thing is that I believe that the guy who wrote Commando, he also wrote Die Hard, which I suppose I find interesting as a point of comparison, because I love Die Hard.
Yeah.
I like Die Hard a lot more than Commando, even though I really enjoy Commando.
The opposite.
Well, Die Hard is much more grounded in reality, I think. Like there's not a lot of over the top things.
The whole thing is
on.
that It's that John McClane is way more of an underdog in the Die Hard films. He's very vulnerable, and it's part of the reason why the triumph feels so. Because in this case, it's like, well, yeah, I mean, of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger is going to kick everybody's asses. Like, look at him.
I think that's one thing this film is missing, because like they know what you're here to see, and they're just trying to construct scenarios for Arnold to like have action scenes, but they didn't put enough work in for me to ever feel like there's a threat. I'm just like, this guy is gonna dominate this entire movie.
I don't know.
For someone who's only seen it like for the first time.
I feel like the point was the opposite in this one. I think you were never supposed to think that John Matrix was in any danger of failing. No, that they're trying to show you what's essentially a superhero just going through a rough day.
But you can say that about like John Wick's first major fight scene, for example. He absolutely dominates that whole club, but he still gets fucked up to some degree. There's moments of failure, and like the fight ends with him getting slammed. Like I really appreciate those little things, and like Fringy, you always mentioned Daredevil getting tired in the hallway scene. Those details really add a lot. And this guy was really missing that for me. He was just completely like cheat code hero man.
It's a matter of that's essentially like not the objective of the film. The objective of the film is very much to show him like dominating consistently. That even when he gets knocked down, it's a very momentary delay. I mean, you can see it basically in the final action scene. That it's basically it's just him running around, explosions, getting everybody, even though there's like a million people firing at him. Compared to how like Die Hard is Die Hard feels lower stakes when in reality the stakes of Die Hard are actually higher than this. Because in this film it's basically two people's lives are in peril.
Yeah.
In Die Hard it's a lot more people than that. But Die Hard feels a lot smaller as a story because, whenever it's an action scene it's like between 2 or 3 people tops.
Mm-hmm.
And like the Die Hard revels in John McClane's vulnerability, whereas Commando, the same writer, it's that guy doing it. Yeah, it revels in his invulnerability. It's him being godlike action hero who always has a plan, even though he pretty much shouldn't be able to, is kind of what they're doing here. Which is why I think that if you then can also write Die Hard, you've got to be aware of the tropes that you're playing with here. That's why I think I was like, I don't really believe that this movie isn't self-aware, that it was just the basis for it. I was like, I don't know. I think the guy writing this was having a ton of fun and knew he was making something silly.
My answer for that would be the I can't remember her name, but the female character, the damsel lady. She definitely was just there for comic relief. Just
Cindy.
Comic relief for sure.
Well, we needed someone to fly a plane.
I liked her.
Yeah, holy shit.
They gave her a thing.
What the hell? She just what? I love how
when the Gordon, he just knows how to fly, which makes him the most important character in the film until they need to get rid of him because they got to get John Cusack back with his wife.
She was just a gift for the writers. Whatever they needed, this chick just had. Like, oh, you need Arnie out of jail? Hoop, rocket launcher, no problem. she could suddenly pick it. There's no way she could pick that thing up.
Well,
like,
she read the instructions though, so
yeah, I mean, and
that's when it just became a meme to me. I'm like, yep, this movie's over.
They did the work though. They did show her throwing the instruction manual in the cart, like in the gun store. So it's like, the instructions were there. Like she'd be like, oh my god, what can I do to save him? Well, there's this thing. He did tell me it's a rocket launcher. Here's the instructions, and then she still does fuck it up. So
yes, the bare bones were there, I guess.
They did the work. Yeah, they did the work implies that they did a lot of work on it, but it's more so the matter of if we can find even the thinnest.
But you're describing pocket lint to me right now.
Well, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's like super tightly written or anything like that, or would stand up to like scrutiny to like when measured against the rules of reality. I just think, though, that in the bad writing version of this, they would not be setting those things up. It would just be the rocket launcher would be in the cart, and she'd suddenly know how to use it and get him out in the first shot. Whereas here, I just appreciate that they like added the little bits to be like, we thought about this a little, like we didn't.
That's back to like the lady on the plane. And I think you've identified a pattern where they basically do the bare minimum.
It's the same thing. It's like they do the work to at least be like, well, we noticed that you're going to probably.
I agree.
This.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. The belief that you need to provide some rationale for why anything happens, even if it's kind of absurd or even if it's thin compared to getting to a point where it feels like with a lot of stuff now, well, you don't need to explain it. Like, it's a satire.
It's
So
just
you
funny.
can do whatever you
Things
want.
are just
I
happening.
think it's interesting to think about this in a more meta sense as well, as from whoever writes the story. Like, wouldn't you rather have someone who does these small things and tries to make sense of it in some way, even in a silly movie? Wouldn't you rather have someone like this write your crazy big, like, I don't know, MCU production that has tons of backstory to take care of? Because I feel like those people would probably
thinking about it a little.
Yeah, because those people would probably rather go back and check out, so, oh, what can we actually do? Like, what makes sense? Because obviously this is like in a much smaller scale, because you don't have any crazy technology and titans poking out of planets and whatnot. It's just like, oh, what is like the reality that we know, well, in non-movie land, like in real life, and we apply this to here, have like a little silly, we have Arnie throwing some, I don't know, telephone booths around, which he does later.
Oh my god, yeah,
which is over the top, but we could still,
holy shit,
we could still like at least kind of make sense of it in a way, right? Like, whereas today it was like, oh yeah, I know there was like 17 movies before this, but we're just gonna do this now.
It's just not a priority for them. Like, they don't really care.
Yeah.
Like, one of the things I'd always appreciate that you would see all the time in the 90s and early 2000s is when there's like a fight and they're struggling over the gun, they would show one person bang it on like a pole and it would fall down the stairs, so they know the gun is out of the situation.
Yeah.
So we can actually take the fight seriously. Instead, we're sitting there half the time wondering why the fuck don't they pick up their weapon?
Yeah,
it's something that drives me nuts.
About the gun that's
or
on
just
the floor that's in the shot,
or just make the gun the point of interest. And to some degree, right? It's like, oh, this gives me the edge over this fight, so we're gonna do this. And then today, like, action was like, oh, there's like 7 rifles, 2 handguns, and a knife over there, but I'm just gonna use these things as nunchucks or whatever. I don't know. Instead of just picking up one gun that has like a full clip or whatever in it. I don't know. It's just,
I can't even. It's one of my biggest pet peeves in any genre of movie. I can't remember the movie what it is, but it's like a horror movie. These 2 girls, this guy is like attacking them. They have the fucking gun and they have the guy down and knocked out. They can't figure out how to fucking shoot the gun, so instead they hit him in the back with the fucking shotgun, drop the shotgun on the ground, and before they can get like 20 yards out of the house, the guy picks up the gun and chases them.
oh,
and like that's like the pivotal moment of the movie, and I can't.
That's not jumping out to me. I don't know what that is. I've seen a lot of kind of shitty slasher movies, and that I don't know what that. I don't know what movie
it's a clip. It's a clip I had in my Midsummer video, and I can't even remember what the movie is because it's so long ago now. But I remember putting it in there of like the stupidest moment I've ever seen of someone dropping the weapon. Like, you literally handed him the weapon and then ran away, and then you're mad that he's chasing you with it. It's just one of those moments that, like, this was a serious movie before this moment, but. Yeah, it drives me nuts. And if you're gonna do that, at least have it like in a goofy movie like this, where it's like, you know, be consistent with it. Like Tarantino movies, like the crazy over the top action he does, he'll do it from the beginning and it'll stay consistent to where it's believable at that point. You know, there's like at least some type of consistency with what he's established. And I was actually gonna ask this at the beginning because you mentioned Escape from New York and like Rambo and whatnot. I think a lot of these movies wouldn't have worked without the main actor, and this is a big one of them. Do you think this movie would have worked without Arnie?
No.
Thank
really.
you.
Probably not. No.
It's
Probably wouldn't. I don't know if it would even work.
No
with
fucking
Stallone.
way. No, I really don't think almost anyone could have made this movie work.
Arnold,
man.
Yeah. Oh my god. So, sorry, the thing came up where he's about to throw the telephone booth.
I couldn't believe this movie because I remember I've seen it. I know of Commando. I've like seen the cover a million times. Just for some reason, I never watched it as a kid. I thought it was gonna be more grounded than this. So when I started I'm like, this is just a meme fest. No fucking way.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
This was hilarious.
I thought you knew that going in, but
no, I had no idea. This was my big surprise here.
For reference, Rambo First Blood Part 2, where the Colonel goes to Rambo at the beginning of the movie and pulls him into a mission overseas, is also 1985. So these 2 films came out in the same year.
Yeah. So, like, another thing that I appreciate here as well, because he got Nancy, right? Like, he basically kidnaps her. It's like, yo, I need you to do some things. I'll leave you alone very soon. And someone's like, well, you need to. They follow Sully, and he's basically talking to her, saying like, "Yo, you need to pretend like you fell for him, so I can get him here, get my information, and then, well, I don't fucking kill him." And the first chance Nancy is on her own and goes into that bar, she's like, "I'm gonna go to this police officer now because I'm being kidnapped." So, which seems like a very normal thing to do. And that obviously gets him all kinds of trouble. Like, all the mall cops are gonna get onto him. For some reason, that one mall cop is like a macho who's trying to impress the girls. He's like, "Wow, this is one big motherfucker. Want to see me kick some ass?" And he obviously gets like clocked immediately. But yeah, this is, as we said earlier, it's just now we have like this other thing we need to get rid of, because on top of the of the time we have to take into consideration, we now also have to take into consideration that Sully is going to try to call someone, and this is 1985. Not a lot of people had any cell phones on their hands, and if they had, they would be like the big chunky ones. But those are very, very, very expensive, of course. So now he needs to, because he says to Dan, he's like, "Give me a quarter quickly," because he sees Matrix over there. And he just tries to call the other guys to tell them, it's like, "Yo, Matrix is actually here, kill the girl." But before that can happen, he needs to beat up like a couple of police officers, mall cops, because they're trying to get him because he's being a creep. Allegedly. Don't want to get in trouble. And yeah, before he knocks them all out, doesn't kill them, which is important. Doesn't kill them, he just knocks them all out. And then he just goes over to Sully and fucking rips the telephone booth out of the wall and throws it, which is really funny.
This is just part of the whole. Yeah, it had to be Arnie.
Yeah, like you wouldn't believe any other actor doing this.
You couldn't take it seriously
in history.
Just fucking fireman carries the telephone booth and yeets it across.
The part where he like just bursts out and all.
The Matrix Reloaded explosion, all the Smiths.
I do like that they showed the electricity sparks coming out of it there, because that does imply to the audience pretty well that yes, the phone has been disconnected now,
right?
And exactly. It's not just like a prop that they threw.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And then it's like
accomplished.
This is like something that I think is worth complimenting in the film, is that the action scenes have a dynamism to them, in that they don't feel like they're repeating themselves.
Mm-hmm.
The action scene that's playing out here is very different than the action scene at the end of the film, because as Metal explained, he's doing non-lethal, it's non-lethal fighting. He's not trying to kill anybody here. Meanwhile, he's trying to catch one very specific person in a vertical space. So it's giving you something different as a set piece compared to what you've seen before and what will come later.
Exactly. There's a lot of really elaborate stunts too.
Yeah, they are.
And
like,
I think
bringing over onto the elevator, that's cool.
Yeah, there are, I think, some disadvantage watching it like on a Blu-ray now, as opposed to back when I would like see this movie on VHS, because you really notice a lot of cuts between Arnold and his stunt guy. But that's still
the elevator. Like
it's still
obviously not him.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think though the stunt work is still so good that I think I'm very forgiving of that in context. It's like, well, I mean, it's still real people doing stuff, and it does look quite good.
Yeah, not everyone's gonna be Tom Cruise. Like, you don't need to be that extra tier. But
especially
I do appreciate it.
Like, honestly, before Jackie Chan came to the West, no actors did their own stunts for the most part. Some did fight scenes, but not like dangerous things like that.
Yeah, Jackie changed the game for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I was a massive Jackie Chan fan as a kid.
So now Sully is driving away, and Nancy just comes back to the car, and she just gets in. Like, not even stops for her for some reason, which I'm not entirely sure why he would, but good for him, because she's going to be very important, very helpful. And she just goes on this whole tire. It's like, "Who are you? You kidnapped me, you destroyed my car, but are you going to tell what the fuck is going on?" He just says, "No."
No! That's such a good reaction.
His deadpan delivery, I love it.
So good. No. So good.
And I think her response is like very understandable, because she's like, she really didn't expect him to say that.
I like how in the chase they like instantly get from like in the middle of LA to just like out in some fucking canyon. Like, just happens basically instantly when they would have had to be driving for what feels like 20-30 minutes.
Yeah. Well, they're driving convertibles, so those are always really fast, right?
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah. Didn't think about that, you fool.
That's true. I hadn't considered that.
But yeah, it's just fun. It's just a very straightforward chasing scene, chase scene. They just go a little for the thing, and then yeah, as you said, they just get into the mountains pretty quickly. And
I like the actress though. Like those lines she delivers, I think are pretty good. And I think she's funny without being too silly.
Right.
I thought she was annoying as fuck.
Oh, really?
I wasn't feeling her too much. I think, yeah, just a different take on her. I just thought she was a bit over the top. And it just, I understand her playing off Arnold, but she was just, I felt like they were just stitched together. Like there wasn't like she was the most rushed part of the movie from how I felt when I was watching it.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
Yeah. Like the idea of, okay, not to skip to the end, but like,
I mean, you can.
the idea of them having like some big romance at the end, or like this was some crazy arc they've been together and now they're a happy family. Like bullshit! You barely remember her name. Like get out of here! Like, well, I literally just stitched together. I found the clip, by the way. I sent it there.
It was just like, hey, they fly off together, and she meets the daughter that she helps save, who she gives a hug to. Like, I mean, it's not like they make out or anything. Or,
no. I know. I'm saying if they're implying that, then I'm like, okay, you're definitely missing some pieces here. But like,
I don't know.
I know
After
what you
that
mean.
Scenario, do you not think Arnold would probably be able to get that girl if he wanted her?
That's part of the reason. Their relationship could have been much more interesting. I just feel like they were stitched together, and she was a bit over the top.
Well, I mean, I guess you got to remember the time frame too, right? Like this is all within 11 hours. Like how much can you develop their relationship with that ticking clock?
I think that makes my point for me. They made it seem like it was so much more established, when I think with the scenes they had together, they could have done a lot more. Most of it was her just screaming.
Definitely, like the part in the end where it's like, oh, hey, hello. It's like, I mean, come on, you don't know.
Yeah, you barely know her. Like, come on, it's like Poe and Bray and Finn and TROS, where like you just skipped all that. Let's not go that bad, but you know what I mean. The idea of them just skipping and wanting us to like, yeah, they've had a long journey together, have they? Have they really?
Essentially, the whole point of the character is there to be somewhat comic relief, which I suppose is kind of interesting. When like I feel like John Matrix on his own is pretty hilarious, but I guess it's a matter of you need somebody to bounce. Like I imagine that was literally basically the beginning and the end of why she's there. Is you need to give him someone to talk to, so that he can actually say a lot of his funny lines, right? Of like,
they set up the one-liners for sure.
Let him go. Oh, that's
the straight man. The straight man in the situation is delivering the punchlines too, which is kind of interesting.
Funny part. Yeah, that's kind of interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, talking about punchlines, we got a couple of ones here right now. It's pretty good.
Dude,
he flips him over with the car, gets out, grabs him.
It's the way he picks him up, like he's a freaking toy,
like a little boy, like a little clown boy. Yeah. He just flips him over. I know you can't do anything. I only know where you need to go. But Matrix already knows because he saw the.
That is pretty funny. He lifts him up, and the presumption is, well, I mean, you're going to interrogate me, right? And it's like, nah, I know where I need to go.
Yeah. He's like, oh,
just fucking with him.
That's not the most important thing to you right now. What's important is gravity, and he just holds him over this cliff. And then follows it up with, I have to remind you, Sully, this is my weak arm.
It reminds me of I can't remember his name, Rourke in Sin City, where he's just like holding the guy up outside of the car and everything. Marv. Just how OP strength, man. It's insane. Arnold is just a cartoon in this movie.
Blessed with the greatest. This is my favorite punchline in the movie.
Yeah,
my favorite. One of my favorite Arnie one-liners in general. You remember, Sally, when I promised to kill you last? That's right, Major. You did. I lied.
I like the one before it as well. It's like, I'm gonna tell you where you need to go. It's like, well, but you won't. It's like, why not? Because I already know. And just holds the tag in his face.
In a sense, from Sully's perspective, this is a horror movie. Like,
remember when I promised to kill you last? I have to play it with sounds. I just have to.
You have to. Yeah.
Hang on, I just need to get there. Okay, hang on. Boom.
Remember, Sally, when I promised to kill you last?
That's right, Major. You did.
I lied.
It's the scream of his scream is also crazy. It's so good.
I love too that also the little thing where they have him grab the motel key out of his pocket right away.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Oh, well, you need me alive to tell you where everyone else is." Like, nope, I already found that.
Dude,
I
it's
know
stuff
that
like
already.
this that again makes me feel like it is self-aware of the tropes, because usually in a film it would be, you know, the guy gets hung over the building to get information out of them. And then maybe the subversive part would be that they drop them anyway. In this case, it's literally just like, I'm not interrogating you.
Yeah.
I know what I need to
I'm bringing you over here to drop you.
But then Nancy's like, "What did you do with Sully?" He just says, "I let him go."
I think it has to be. There's too many of these moments of just like, really? Like the rocket launcher one for me was like, okay, we're fucking around here at this point for sure.
It kind of makes you think just how hard Simpsons writers had to go to make McBain more over the top, and like a comedy version of it, because it's like, man, the straight version of it's pretty funny.
Yeah. Anyway, they're making their way to the motel now. There's some more scenes where we see the daughter just getting locked in a room, basically. Is this where Banner goes like, "I'm the only one who can get you out of this"? No, I think that's the next one. But yeah, we get like some things spliced in here where we see a little bit of the evilman's perspective, where they just put her in a room, lock her in, and stuff like that. But yeah, now we're just doing a little investigation. Just going to the motel room, see if there's anything else. Like, look through the drawers, look at all these things. But then Cooks, that's the guy's name that comes in here, right?
Actor Bill Duke.
You know, so it's like, "Here, get rid of your jacket and open up your button and pretend like you've had some fun with Sully, so you can get him in here." And then they have like a big old brawl, a brawlstein, and it's just, I don't know, it's pretty simple, straightforward. As we said earlier, like the whole thing with getting rid of the gun or making the gun the focus point of the brawl. That's what they do here, because Cook does have a gun, a big old revolver.
That's literally what I was describing. They show the tangle up and then they throw it. They make sure you see, and then you can enjoy the fight scene, because like you're gonna be so distracted the entire time thinking, why doesn't he use the gun? Pick up the gun, blah 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 blah. And it's just one little detail that makes the fight so much more enjoyable. Now I don't have to think about the gun.
Yeah, and as soon as he gets knocked in close to the gun, he fucking grabs the gun and starts shooting.
Yeah.
And he shoots 6 times, and when he has him at gunpoint, he's out of bullets.
Yep.
Yay!
Yeah.
Ammo count
Boobies.
matters in this scene.
Yeah. Also, next door, there were
It doesn't matter ever in the film ever again.
That is
It's true, yeah.
Oh God, God, he hit.
It's just really funny.
Oh my! More ammo than I've ever seen in a machine gun, and it's a rifle.
But yeah, it's funny. They're like both macho man people, right? They're just like, I eat green berets for breakfast. Like, oh, right now I'm really hungry. And the other one is doing a thing. They just go back and forth. And even Nancy's like, oh, they're so macho. It's really funny.
I was with her there, like, what are you guys doing? Oh my God. 80s, smacked in the face of the 80s, where like people were cheering these lines, weren't they?
But yeah, also we got some boobies here. That's always nice.
Yep.
And then he points the gun, he's like, fuck you, asshole. Fuck you, asshole. And Hunter just says, fuck you, asshole. And just knocks him out and breaks his neck or something. And he gets yeeted into like a piece of wood.
Impaled.
Gets impaled on the floor. It's like, where is she? But he dies. And wait, what does he find in his pocket? I think it's a note. No, it's just, hang on. I actually can't remember right now. Come on, movie, show me.
Was it the key to the car? Like his
car?
Yeah,
you're right. And then they check the car, and then they find the warehouse. That's like a receipt or something. Yeah. And then they go to that warehouse. yeah, they always find some clues or do the things, and then they go to like a supply thingy, and they basically just sneak in and out to get the information they need. I think that's basically all that happens here.
Pretty much.
Yeah, he goes into the warehouse where it's like he sees like there's tons of guns that they probably want to use for the uprising against the government thingy going on. And yeah, this is where they find out they need to go to this random island somewhere that's like 2 hours by plane, which she can fly because she was picked up from the airport.
Got all the
She
things.
was doing the training or something. It's very convenient. But that's like
well, and also, I mean, though, her having the information that she would need based on that fuel receipt does make sense in the context of, yeah, she knows where that place is because she takes flying lessons.
Oh yeah, I'm saying that
there's still even a little bit of work there.
Sully bumping into her.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was going.
John Matrix to then follow her to then
He
drag
found
her into the adventure.
He found the perfect partner. Like she's just perfect.
Yeah.
Has all the things.
Who's also very on board, just helping out after she realizes he's really going after his daughter.
Yeah, that's all she needed. Like, oh, my daughter's in trouble. All right, I'll put my life on pause and my life in danger and everything on hold.
She never gets
whatever you need.
She never gets to her karate classes that she mentions.
Yeah.
But isn't it that the cops start chasing her, so she thinks she's going to be arrested for something, and that's why she then wants his help and wants to stay with him?
Huh?
I remember.
Oh, she does say that she's getting... Well, probably the reason she is getting chased by the police is because she fucking pushes one down the fucking stairs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that was just like her instinct.
I just realized...
decided like, okay, I need to help this guy. But then she does something where like, fuck, now I'm on the run too. I just assaulted a police officer.
Did we skip over the part where he just rips out her chair in her car? Just completely rips it out.
Yeah.
But I don't even know why he does that. Because
why'd he do that?
No. Okay,
so just put him down. Oh my god.
I think I know why. I think it's so that he can hide so Sully won't see him. But the way
I get that part, but he could have just laid down. Like he could have just like
just reclined.
There's so many things he could have did. Yeah, exactly. He could have reclined it. He could have went in the back.
But this way it's way funnier, obviously. So you know.
Oh, that's it. That's what I think. Like they made the choice to just meme everything up anytime, any opportunity they can to just make a joke and just like have some fun with it. They went with that. So
I think what's really funny though is in the wide shots of the city, he's very much not lower than she is at all. Like it's like they didn't really take much care for it, and I think they were just driving around in a normal car that had a seat, and and then when it cuts in, you see him, he's a little lower. But I feel like Sully would still be able to see him.
Yeah.
It's like his head's above the dashboard.
Fun memes. This movie is fun memes. If nothing else, it's really fun memes. It's really good stuff. But yeah, because now they got the information and they need a plane. They got 4 hours or something now. But Arnie, he can't go unarmed. So as he puts it, they're gonna go shopping now, which means he goes to an army surplus or whatever that was called. Oh, surplus city. There it was. And they just fucking runs a not a crane, like a cat thingy. I can't think of the name of those fucking vehicle right now.
A bulldozer.
Bobcat?
Thank you.
Bulldozer? Oh.
Yeah. And just fucking runs it in there and starts emptying out the surplus shop thingy. And to my surprise, he gets fucking captured by the police, which I didn't expect to happen in this movie, to be quite honest.
Hey, well, look, I mean, the earlier action scene had consequences.
Yeah.
He's in trouble.
He's in trouble. They just can't start emptying out that place, and while Nancy is going back to load up the car, the police arrives, so she doesn't get caught, luckily. There's all kinds of things. A knife, some fucking scuba gear or whatever. Just some... what else does he get? Just all kinds of weapons, really. I don't even know why I'm going so specifically. He just gets a fuck ton of weapons, including a rocket launcher and a big machine gun. That's basically all I need to say. I don't know why I had the feeling to just mention every single one of these things. He's gearing up. There we go. I got there eventually.
He should have just left that place a little earlier, though.
No, he was busy getting more guns. But yeah, he gets captured by the police, and luckily for everyone, they don't escort the things. Oh, they actually have 5 hours left, not 4. It's even more. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, because all the police transport that has like the prisoner in there, I don't know, but I would assume those things get escorted by at least one more police car. I would say.
I mean, if it had been, then they would have been screwed. Like for the film, that's basically you figured that there would be another car, especially with how much wanton destruction there was and how many officers got injured in the shops.
And collateral damage, because she does fire an errant rocket as well.
This is what I'm saying. It's insane. It's a completely insane.
Okay, let me.
And everything about it.
The whole scenario is fucking bonkers. Because she drives up to the police transport. The one guy is like, "Oh, it's a hooker." It's like, I don't know why he thought that, because she just has a business outfit.
Thank you. She's literally well dressed. Why the hell did you just assume she's a hooker?
The implication is that when they opened up her shirt to have her pretend to be a hooker in the motel, the world reads her as a hooker.
The whole world.
Oh my god!
It was a very
effective
disguise.
How they instantly get so distracted by her completely. Like, they barely have their eyes on the road. They're not even doing their job properly anymore.
But also, it's an empty street. There's nobody around. I know it's like early in the morning, but this is LA?
Yes,
like,
yes.
It's just like cars around.
Everything wrong with this scene. This was the scene for me of like this. I can't. This is a meme now. This is just a meme fest where it's over. It's done.
And now you would probably think like, okay, so that was nice because they just drive away. It's like, okay, what's the idea? How's she gonna get Arnie out of here? How does Matrix get out of this debacle? I was
kind of interested. Like, what's she gonna do? I was genuinely interested. And my jaw dropped when I saw it.
She stops, goes to the back seats. Just gets out the rocket launcher and
fucking Nemesis.
First blasts one behind her because she's holding it backwards, which is
that was actually kind of funny.
Pretty funny.
Yeah,
and then
I feel like she would have noticed the trigger. Like the trigger would be, she'd have to fire it with her thumb. Like
I know it's so stupid, but Lauer, let the girl.
And then she fucking blasts the transport below. It tips over and. Like in a fucking cartoon, Arnie gets out of things smoking from all the explosions.
Yeah, she's very lucky that she aimed it exactly right.
It's so perfect. Oh man, yeah, this guy is like incredible plot armor. Like, he's someone I'm gonna reference.
Oh yeah, his plot armor.
I wasn't aware of this.
Yeah,
I wasn't aware of this. I assumed, like, it's called Commando. It's got Arnie. It's from the 80s. I know he's gonna have some plot armor. I wasn't ready for this. I didn't know.
I guess you just were like not familiar with how like
sort
of known it is for the insane plot armor.
No, this was a revelation for me of like, this is incredible. Like, he's one of the people, like, some of the most ridiculous plot armor I've ever seen. Like the one scene at the end, the big shootout scene, that was just that if I was gonna explain plot armor to someone in like one scene without any context, just play that. Explain, like, how the fuck he's not even taking cover. Like,
nope.
It's insane.
He's very powerful. He's a powerful wizard.
Oh my god.
But yeah, that's quite fun. But yeah, they get exploded. They survive. They make sure shows they survive. And the one guy's just looking out, is like, what the fuck just happened? And then they just drive off, which is also funny. But yeah, it's absolute insanity. The daughter is still like captured. I mean, that's all that happens. I was thinking if there was anything else, but no, just captured. Bennett tells the other guys like he's gonna do exactly as he's told as long as we have the daughter.
It just feels like a reminder of the stakes, right? If
yeah,
you've been lost in all the insanity lately, like, yeah, this is what it's all about, guys.
Like, this is like it's bare bones first draft, but at least there's structure of some kind here. There's things they attempt, like you said, the ticking clock reminding us of the stakes, little things. It's like you can learn a lot from this movie and go from there. But it's just it's just interesting the approach they took for a lot of things.
I mean, I suppose you could say that it's a film that can fairly easily be broken into 3 acts. It's just that the first act is really short. The second act is very, very long. And what just happened there was, I suppose, meant to be the second act low point of, oh, he gets captured. Of course, it gets undone pretty quickly.
Like 30 seconds later.
And then the third act is the big, crazy action scene.
Just trying to create scenarios for Arnie to do Arnie things, and like you can clearly see that's the approach. And I like this reminded me of Crank almost with Jason Statham.
Yeah,
just sending him on a mission, just
ticking clock too.
Yeah, same.
If anything,
same
actually, there's some slower scenes in Crank.
Was there? Oh, jeez.
Crank
was a lot of fun. That's all I remember.
He what is it? He has the Driston, the epinephrine nasal spray, and then he sits down and talks for like 10 minutes.
All I remember that movie.
Remember Crank a little.
I specifically remember accidentally watching that movie, like being on my way out with my mom. It just started, and we just watched the whole thing because the pacing was so good.
Oh, it's just after Chester from Linkin Park tells him to use the nasal spray. Core memory unlocked.
Crank is fun. I do quite enjoy that movie. And now they go grab a plane, basically, and there's like 2 people on a Humvee, kind of like a military not a Humvee, like one of these small.
This is a Jeep.
Jeep, yeah, just a Jeep.
Like an open top all-terrain vehicle.
And they just kind of shoot at each other, and no one hits anyone except Arnie at the end, so they can fall in the water. Then he punches. Punches the plane once. And it's like,
yeah, it punches it and it works.
Yeah, move or die. And then it works. It's like works every time.
I think that they were very lucky that none of the bullets destroyed the engines on the.
That plane should have been Swiss cheese, man. They shoot so much.
The bad guys are like shooting blanks. They actually don't like.
Yeah.
Their bullets don't do anything.
Yeah.
It's just, it's crazy. It's strange. They account for so many little things in this movie. Like we're talking about the bare bones. But when it came to that, they just said, fuck it. Like there's nothing that they did. Like not taking cover. Things are just immune to damage.
Once again, an instance of the sequence lasts so long of them just firing at them that you do sit there and wonder, like, this is like a meme, right?
Yep.
Like, like someone just enemies never hit the good guy.
That was my biggest worry as I was watching it, thinking like, because I knew I'm probably going to be the only one who's seeing it for the first time, and I'm watching it wondering like, man, I hope they're aware that this is like a meme, like completely. Am I going to be the only one that's like ripping into this thing? And then I saw the shooting scene at the end. I'm like, okay, no way, for sure. There's no way.
Everybody knows what this film is and like what kind of experience you're going to get out of it, and essentially that it's not especially ambitious at all. It knows exactly what it is and what it's trying to be, and it provides like a very entertaining experience. But it is crazy.
I can't think of a better description than bare bones. Like it's just the.
I guess this would be a point of comparison because obviously it's still on my mind. This film makes more sense than Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh, by a mile.
I hate to break it. Yeah, like I suppose it's interesting to think about how kind of like the way that these films, particularly if you think about films from the 80s or the 90s, that were viewed as being like the crazy, bombastic, kind of ridiculous, lowbrow films that the standard has fallen considerably.
These are way more grounded and better structured than a lot of people.
These have a structure that you can follow while Deadpeen? What the fuck is wrong with me? Deadpool and Wolverine.
Like Predator is straight up fantastic. And like people would probably think that's just as people would refer to that as a stupid 80s action movie if they haven't seen it.
Yeah, but
you watch Predator.
I don't know. Is Predator stupid? I don't know if
people who haven't seen Predator would refer to Predator if they're just looking at it, flipping through IMDb. Oh, it's just another 80s action movie. It's like all the rest.
But the fact that my tism, I'd be like, "What do you mean stupid? Justify that."
I'm saying someone who hasn't seen it. I'm definitely saying it. Just scrolling through IMDb type of thing.
Very, very
they would
wrong.
treat. Yes, 100%. But I don't like the idea of also like even Commando and Predator. I feel are like vastly different. But a lot of people would just throw them in the same pile.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're definitely different. It's something that is kind of like an interesting thing when you think about the nature of Arnold Schwarzenegger's filmography for the, this decade, right? Of like, it's kicking it off with like Conan the Barbarian and then doing the Terminator, which is a classic, and then coming on to Commando, which feels like a very archetypal, essentially what you think of when you think of like an 80s bombastic action movie. But then even doing stuff like Predator, The Running Man, Total Recall, and then Terminator 2. It's like, and Last Action Hero and True Lies. It's like such a, they're all action movies, but they really, you can't paint them with the same brush.
Big spectrum of tones.
Do you just made really good choices, or you had like a really good agent? Because I think one of the things the Rock is missing is he doesn't have any substance in his movie category. Arnie actually has good movies.
I suppose it's interesting because in a sense they're comparable in that both of their ambitions are essentially to create like popular films. That's what they want to do, and then the fact that they're big muscly men as part of like their star power. But I mean, I would say that the difference is that Arnold Schwarzenegger ended up in a lot of films that are like actually great.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking. I find it fascinating that he actually has quality films under his belt. How did you think he just managed his career way differently? Is it luck?
I mean, he made a lot of really good decisions. It was something that he talks about in his book. Actually, you know what? Guess what do you think was the film that he got paid the most money for in his entire career?
Oh fuck! I should have known that. I watched it.
No, it's not Terminator 3 actually.
Really?
Was it Kindergarten Cop?
No, but you're getting closer.
It was one that you wouldn't expect. It's one that you wouldn't expect. I can't remember which
Twins.
Twins.
Yes, exactly.
Twins. The reason why is because they Danny DeVito and Arnie had like one of those sort of back end deals of they got a cut of the revenue because they had to kind of fight to make that film happen, because that was part of Arnie essentially trying to branch out into doing comedy, which I suppose is funny when you think about Commando.
Yeah.
But like that was something that he consciously tried to do. He believed I could be funny and that it's important that I try to be funny because that makes him a more versatile entertainer. So Twins, they had a back-end deal that meant that they got a huge amount of the box office cut, and the film was very successful.
Right.
So, like, yeah, you could say that that's kind of the nature of the decisions he made. And then the reality is he was dominant for like 20 years.
Yes.
Someone in the chat... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No. What'd you say?
I was just saying, in terms of the mismanagement for The Rock, James Moore brought up in the chat, The Rock can act. If you look back at some of his old films, like he's turned into this ego-driven moron who's playing the same movies over and over and over again. But there's, Be Cool. He plays a gay gangster in that movie, and like he actually does a really good job.
But
it's the only time you see him act.
Well, I guess it's I don't know. It almost feels like a case of he got settled into like a. You see the trailer for the new Christmas movie that is in Red One? You seen that?
No, I haven't even heard of that.
What a
name. Okay. Yeah, no. So
that doesn't sound like a Christmas movie.
It's the first infantry in World War II.
Well, yeah, Big Red One, but it's not. Yeah. It's a Christmas movie.
I know that's why it's a strange title for a Christmas movie.
Basically, the gist of it is Santa Claus is oh my god, I can't believe that I'm blanking. I'm doing the thing that Mauler did yesterday with Bruce Willis. J.K. Simmons plays like buff Santa Claus, and The Rock is like a security guard for him, and Santa gets kidnapped, so he needs to team up with Chris Evans to go rescue him. And there's like,
is this?
It's meant to be apparently like the beginning of a franchise that's meant to be holiday related of action movies.
Yeah, good luck with that, guys.
Yeah.
They need to stop, man. They need to stop with this franchise.
I believe he got
you know what I just heard yesterday?
For this,
you know what I just heard yesterday? That just made me disgusting.
The budget's like $200 million. It's a very expensive movie.
Were any of you Dexter fans back in the day?
I liked it.
I didn't watch Dexter.
Well, they're bringing that shit back, and we're gonna get the Dexterverse. They're trying to fucking multiverse like franchise everything. It's so stupid. That like you can't do that with Dexter. You cannot do that with Dexter. It's so.
I suppose to tie it back into the Arnie Rock conversation. I mean, I would agree that the Rock is actually like capable of acting, but I don't know. It definitely feels like a case of getting settled into like a rhythm rather than essentially what I think you see when you really look at Arnold Schwarzenegger's filmography, which was a desire to do different things.
And he took creative risks that The Rock isn't willing to.
Pretty much.
The last time I remember there being an Arnold Schwarzenegger, because I guess for some context, I think I've mentioned this before, but my dad took me to see Terminator 2, and from there on out, we went to go see every single Arnold Schwarzenegger movie that came out in the theater, even if we had to sneak me in, because the R-rated ones I couldn't easily get into. But we buy a ticket for a PG-13 movie, and then we just walk in to whatever Schwarzenegger was in. That's how I saw Total Recall, for example.
Did he sneak you in like they tried to sneak out the
no,
the
not
girl
Leia.
in,
I know
Kenobi?
exactly where you're saying. Leia and Obi-Wan, no.
Obi-Wan, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, it is. Actually, you're right. It is Kenobi, but like, yeah, no, never like that. We just buy a ticket for a movie and then go into another one. The last time I can remember there being an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie that people got excited for was End of Days. And after that, it didn't seem like anyone ever cared when he made a movie. Like, just movies would come out with Schwarzenegger that got no press, no trailers, and no one knew they were coming. And I think it might have been because, ironically enough, the film titled End of Days underperformed and kind of ended that like phase of his career where he was like a big box office draw.
Well, I mean, Last Action Hero was kind of like the first notable.
That was that was the beginning of that.
Yeah,
right.
But that's after a decade, right, of like consistent wins.
Oh yeah. But I was saying he got like almost another 6 years or so out of it still until then, and I think it was. I think he did some
True Lies and stuff.
I think after End of Days, there was some firefighter movie that I remember nobody caring about. And I was like, man, Arnold Schwarzenegger movie bombed? What do you mean?
Well, it can't
it's interesting. You have the guys like Arnie where they have their moments and then it starts to like dwindle. And then there's other people who become action heroes like in their like mid-50s and shit, like Liam Neeson with the Taken movies and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just a strange transition happens sometimes.
Remember when he made his daughter or whoever was kidnapped at the time launch a grenade so you can hear where they are?
Is that in Taken 2?
I think
so. If you hear me talk about Taken, I'm only talking. It's like John Wick and Taken. I'm only talking about the first one. It turns into a fucking meme fest after that. All I remember about Taken 2 is me and my friend Ashley laughing hysterically in a theater at that scene you're talking about. Him like,
so
take
funny.
this and then shoot the rocket over the pipe, and then all the instructions he's giving her, and I'm just like, this can't be real.
I've not seen the Taken sequel. I've not seen any of the Taken films.
Don't.
The first one.
Don't. You did it once. It was fine. Leave it be.
All you need to see from Taken 3 is him jumping over the fence.
Yeah,
it's 17 cuts.
I've seen
17 million cuts. It's so bad. It's.
I've seen that. I've seen that sequence because meme, but like no, I have not seen the film.
Kylo slapping down Lord Santek at the beginning of TFA has a whole lot of cuts and it's kind of awkward. But the Liam Neeson scene they're talking about is like it's something special, man. I don't know what they were thinking.
Yeah, like I said, I've seen that one because that's a clip that gets passed around like Twitter and YouTube every so often. But yeah, I've never actually seen one of the Taken sequels. I was just like, well, I mean, I don't know, like how's this happening to the same guy again? And I guess
that's exactly. She took her again. They took her again. You're fucking shit. Like, come on, man. But well, just to get back to Commando, while we're on that topic, this premise has been done a million times, and there's so many different flavors of it. What would you say is your favorite? Like, Taken, Man on Fire, like Commando, if it is, like, what would you say is your favorite?
I don't know that
this genre or premise of Taken.
I don't know that I would pick a favorite because like movies that are in the same key genre but have different little sub-genres to them. Like I don't know that I would say compare Commando to Total Recall. You know, like there's too many things that are very
specifically
different
like
about those experiences that I really don't think I'd be rating them on the same scale.
Specifically, the idea of a kidnapped loved one and of an old soldier or warrior having to
like just that general plot.
Like
premise?
literally that exact plot. Like the John Wick, like just replace the girl with the dog in John Wick. Like just getting an old warrior to hop back on an old mission. Like that's pretty much the premise of Man on Fire, Taken.
I mean,
Commando,
the best
John
one's
Wick.
Probably Unforgiven.
That's a good pick.
That's
actually a good pick.
Like,
awesome.
I mean, I'm trying to think of like which ones would be considered the best films of like that premise, and Unforgiven is basically that. And it's like William Munny
seen that for the very
back
first
in for one
time.
last
time I was over at Mute Place.
Dude, Unforgiven.
That
man,
movie
I'm
is
just gonna be thinking about that for hours.
That movie's excellent, man. Jesus Christ!
I got movies of all time.
After I saw that and I came back home, I immediately ordered the 4K Blu-ray. I was like, this shit is fucking sick. I need to watch this more times. This is so good.
But I guess that it sort of ties into my point about the difference in subgenre too, because like I don't know how I could, if you ask me what's better, Unforgiven or Commando, I'd be like, well, Unforgiven, but also they're not really like it's not really the same kind of experience you're going for. Right?
Yeah.
But just to say that this, you can do this plot in many different ways. We've seen it so many different ways, and there's the best approach.
You got Extraction as well.
Diverting
That's where you get the old, the retired-ish warrior, I guess.
Yeah, we're probably missing like so many
song.
examples.
I would need to think about that and probably rewatch a lot of them because I haven't dabbled in that scenario for quite a while.
I believe there's
actually
also
that's not true. I
I
just recently watched the first Equalizer movie and I quite enjoyed that one.
Yeah, actually I've not seen the Equalizer sequels either, but I did like the first one, the Denzel one.
Only seen the first one. Yeah, I've heard the other ones are pretty good too. I don't know though. I have no idea.
But maybe we can do an Equalizer arc.
I did
two
watch
new movies for me at least.
Did watch the first one like 2 months back or something. I don't know. I don't even know why. I think I just wanted to watch a movie and chill out, and then I was like, I wanted to watch that, and then I enjoyed it.
Denzel Washington films are usually pretty reliable.
Well, Denzel Washington is
pretty
reliable.
good.
Yeah, he's
just good.
He's gonna be in Gladiator too. I can't wait to watch that.
Yeah, I mean, and I've noticed too the conversation around Denzel in Gladiator. There's a lot of people being like, "Well, he's probably going to be really good."
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can just trust that. Like, name a shit Denzel performance. He's probably one of the most consistent actors you're ever going to get.
Yeah, he is.
I think though part of it is also
he has so many really good movies, like excellent films.
And I think the other element of that is I think he has an agent who finds him things that he will do very well.
Yeah, so, Training Day was like, I can't see another human playing that role. Like Alonzo, whatever his name was, the cop that he played in Training Day was just perfect.
Yeah,
perfect for all the qualities he brings to the table.
One of the best villains in all of cinema.
Yeah, so good.
Good stuff out there.
People don't reference him when they talk about really good villains. You're right. Like someone asked that just the other day, and I went through a whole bunch of people in my head. I didn't even think of him.
Villain,
he's actually
villain
one of the people
that carried an entire movie and then won a bunch of Oscars with it. Like I mean, not that Ethan Hawke's bad in Training Day or anything.
I love Ethan Hawke in that movie. I think the bathtub scene in Training Day is one of my favorite movie scenes like ever. It's one of the few scenes where I'm like, how the fuck is he gonna get out of this? Of just like completely being, enthralled by a scene. And the setup and payoff and everything they do to get him out of that scenario is just incredible. Because it's one of those scenes where like you're gonna get some lazy bullshit to get him out of this a lot of the time. Like Disney would just like you'd be rolling your eyes. But that bathtub scene in Training Day, you can learn so much about like setup and payoff and like maintaining tension, and it's just I love it. So yeah, Ethan Hawke deserves all the credit for that as well.
I've started a Forge Movies note, and I've put down the Equalizer films, Training Day, and Total Recall.
There you go.
I don't know why I didn't do this a while ago, but I think, I'll make it a tradition. Anytime a random movie comes up that we haven't seen in a while on one of the streams, I'll add it to the list.
That's how it goes. That is how that goes.
But back to Mr. Matrix and his plot armor.
Because Commander guy is expecting World War III. Because he realized he's been on a rampage now, or is trying to be. So he knows what's up, and things are happening. To protagonists, they're now in they're on the plane. They're on their way to the island, which takes about 2 hours, and they basically just get some message out. It's like, please let Kirby know, and he's gonna explain everything. But they're also going over a no-fly zone, and they're like, we're gonna shoot you down if you're not gonna do the thing. And then he's like, can you go under the radar? It's like, oh, just go under to the water. It might camouflage us, and then it works. It's like, okay. If you say so.
Oh, definitely one of those like sure moments.
Like, you say so.
Whatever you're going to do, I have no idea.
Honestly, I don't even know if we needed that scene. If I'm being completely honest, I'm not.
No, probably not.
Just skip it.
Because Kirby is already aware things are happening, and then we can just land and just like, just do do the radio calls until he's gonna find us, which he will. So yeah, I don't know. It just this seems like a bit random. In the meantime, the daughter is a bit savvy as well. She's getting out the door handle and starts yanking away at the boards at the window so she can escape, which she will at the time, at the right time. There you go, the opportune time, lots of times. Anyway, Bennett is trying to be like a badass. Like, oh, your peasant soldiers are gonna make me laugh. They pretend like they're tough guys. It's like, oh, remember, I'm the only one who stands between me and Matrix, because he's gonna be back for his daughter one way or another. So yeah, he'll be after you. And I just really like this line. It's like, it is you who is afraid, Mr. Bennett, not me. You're afraid of Matrix. He just says, of course, I'm smart.
Yeah. Good response.
Yeah. It's like, but I have an edge. I have his daughter, so he might be reckless. Well, then they land, and then it's time to gear up because we have like 20 minutes of pure adrenaline and manliness ahead of us.
Holy shit.
Because they land basically at the same time as the plane with the other henchman lands, and he's like,
okay, so these are not the same places they're landing, right?
It's the same country, I think.
Is it?
Like,
oh my god.
Yeah.
That's kind of insane then. Like that if anything is broken with no real explanation in this movie, it's that. Because we know that, what did he have, 5 hours when he was in the paddy wagon? Like when he was arrested? I'm pretty sure that's the time check that we got.
It's 5 hours. Then he gets out, they go to the plane, and then it takes 2 hours.
And then
apparently.
But that's the thing, though. It's like, why did it take 2 hours for one plane and another for 11 to get to the same country?
They're not going to the same place, are they?
Yeah, like they can't be, right?
Wait, hang on. What do you mean? The other plane is already in the air for like 8 hours.
Yeah, I know. That's why that wouldn't make any sense.
They're not going to the same place. They're not going to the same place.
Do they at any point, though, tell you the places where they're going to make that clear? Because that was the one thing I was wondering about. I was like, is this intended to be the same country?
My brain just caught up. Yeah. So wherever the big plane lands should be quite a bit away from where the small island is. So
the small island, you would think,
like nowhere near. It's more so just the fact that it's all happening at around about the same time, but it's
not exactly the same time. But,
that would make more sense if the island is just off the coast of California and this is in like Central or South America.
I mean, there's no way that he's going to be. Yeah, that wouldn't make any sense at all.
Yeah. No, I got you. Yeah, you're right. Anyway, gearing up time, because now he's just in his Speedos, but now he's getting all the weapons and he's putting the camouflage on and the rocket launchers and the guns, and we get this shot. Yeah, Commando, let's go.
That's the shot. That shot was in like every VHS that I watched as a kid. Like, so I definitely am familiar with that shot.
I was incorrect. This is not an FNFAL. It is a G3, an HK91.
Okay, I don't remember you making that claim.
I don't know.
I could not have told you otherwise.
At the end, and then I second guessed myself.
Oh, okay. Wow. I thought I fell asleep there for a second.
You're welcome, gun porn people.
Let's go. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's plot armor, lots of shooting, no ammunition. He goes
illogical explosions. Like when he sets the claymores, I think he sets like 2 or 3, but then the buildings themselves explode. Even the tower up explodes when there would have been no explosive.
Wait, you're not aware of what the fuck was that?
What?
It's like a weird noise here in my flat just now, and I don't know what it was.
I was muted. Though X-Ray Girl did scream because she was playing Chained Together.
No, it's on this side. You got a ghost there, pal?
Or a raccoon.
No, it sounded like something that like. But
I've got puppies.
I don't know what it was, and now I'm concerned. If you hear me scream, call please.
What do Germans use for personal defense? Do you have any way that you can arm yourself?
I have a
baseball bat or something. Do they have baseball in Germany?
You can buy baseball.
I actually don't know. Okay, yeah, baseball bat. That's
but I don't think Amazon is going to be there quickly if the burglar is already in my house.
Oh no! I thought it might be something you already had.
Just grab a knife, you'll be all right. I was gonna say this scene was the scene that, like I said, confirmed for me. Like, yep, okay. Will definitely be considered a meme by everybody. There's no way by this point anyone will be taking this super seriously because it's
essentially just
insane.
The video game action sequence.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's Contra in live action.
No, I don't even think it's an insult to video games. Video, you'd still take cover, like chug some health pots or something. You know,
Actually,
this guy,
yeah, I mean,
like it's a fever
in
dream
Contra,
action
you do
scene.
die pretty fast in Contra.
It,
to be fair,
fever dream. That's the only way I can describe it. Of just like long shots of him just getting shot at from every direction, not taking cover, and not getting hit at all. Like it's when he finally gets injured, I'm like, holy crap, man! It's really delicate to be able to do that. And if you're gonna have scenes like that where someone has like significant or even like limited amount of plot armor, it's really delicate, like I said, and you have to make sure you're getting a good amount of character out of it. Like my example would be like Damon in episode 3 of House of the Dragon. When he does his run, I was like really happy that he got riddled up with arrows. Like there's actually some consequences for this. You can't get away with that for so long, right? You have to be able to justify it in the end. This scene never had that moment. They just said, fuck you, he's invincible, all right?
Yeah.
Like, leave him be.
You could argue that's the intention, but I think you're correct in that if they tried harder to make him fight logically, it probably would have resulted in a better movie.
They could have, the littlest of a bit of effort would have assisted this scene, because you can't take it seriously. And like for the people who are really enjoying the movie, I'm like, that's not fair to them. Do a little bit of work. They just made him invincible, and it's just a bit much. A bit much for that scene.
But yeah, that's basically what's gonna happen the next 15 minutes. He uses all kinds of weapons. He knifes some people. He uses his he uses his anti-building claymores to blow up all the buildings in the area.
From the bottom to the top.
The enemies
enemies
can't aim for shit. It's like all the thing. Yeah, just look, it's just all fucking explode. It's so funny. I don't know, this is they go crazy. The Bandit is about to go kill the daughter, but she just escaped through the window.
Which, just perfect timing. Yeah,
that's perfect timing. Yeah,
even the daughters. Yeah, even she's got.
What was his plan? Like, what would his plan have been if he just got there and it's like, I'm sorry, what do you think happened when all the explosions went off? You think I guess that's some other guy that we wronged at some point coming to get us.
So yeah, Bennett is just chasing her down to the, I don't know, boiler rooms below the island or something.
I love how he just burst through the wall.
He's like, fuck this shit.
It's so
bad. And yeah, Matrix is just shooting the fucking place up while Nancy is just repeating the radio call. And
like she is so dedicated. Like she is just on Team Matrix, like 100%.
Yeah. I mean, she's here now. Might as well do some radio calls, I guess. By the way, I think it's really funny how the people like behave when they get exploded. Like they do like, I don't know, corkscrew front flips and just fucking.
As you do.
It's just so funny.
He's just jacking people.
I like
very
how
much a bunch of stuntmen being like, how can we die in really hilarious ways?
Yeah, I like how Matrix just goes through all of his weapons. Like one shot he has an Uzi, the other one is an M16, the other one he goes his handgun. He just goes through all of his weapons and just kills everyone. All of a sudden, he's got a shotgun.
That's what I'm. Does he go through all the weapons that he shows in the gear up scene? Does he actually use them, or is it just
probably?
madness?
I think at some point he picks one up from the floor. I think.
I think you do actually see all of that, like everything that you see. Yeah. He grabs, and because he grabs like multiple knives and stuff with his pistols, grenades, claymores.
I love gear up scenes. Like it's one trope that just give me more. Like I'll never get bored of them. But what I hate is when this gear up scene doesn't actually like relate to anything. Like I saw him grab this, and this, and he doesn't use them. What the fuck? Like what the hell's the point of that?
He even has one of those air knife things that was in like the original Black Ops. Like it's like a little tube that shoots one bike.
Spetsnaz knife.
Yeah. Uses one of those. I was like, oh wow, and it was after he gets a double throwing knife kill.
Yeah. Oh my god, that was insane.
Well, he's now he's currently on screen. He's in a shed that gets absolutely obliterated. But he was.
Yeah, he really shouldn't have lived through this.
Well, he was on the roof where they didn't shoot. I guess it's the
idea. They just didn't consider that option. I was just like, come on, guys.
Them, I would have.
Come on, guys. Just one of you just thought like maybe his one option would be to go up, and he didn't even consider it. He's done. It's over. Like this is. What
Yeah,
are you
but
doing?
now he can throw
Stormtroopers.
the saw blades in their faces and kill them.
Their reaction time in this moment is just like they just nerfed. They're completely like just lagging.
Yeah.
Like I don't.
They have
No
bad-
one can react.
They have an internet outage, but yeah, he cuts one
Now he acquires
ping.
the belt fed machine gun.
cuts one guy's arm off as well. It's just all kinds of craziness. And then he just jumps around. There's more soldiers. He shoots more people. He gets the M60 and just goes like.
That'd be so inaccurate.
Well, everyone's inaccurate except him, because
Yeah, I know. It would be though. Like if you're trying to fire an M60 just from the hip, like
Look at him. He goes like.
it'd be very tough to hit things. Was that an M60? Yeah, it might
It's
be.
all about flexing the bicep, man. They don't give a fuck about accuracy.
so-
Just should. What if I shoot it like this? He's like, no, Arnie, we just see you flex. Like, I feel like he probably protests this. I can literally imagine a scenario where he wanted to learn how to do it properly and tactically, but they're like, no. It's all about like showing off his muscles and all this scene. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he just took his job seriously like that. At least had one of those moments. Because I don't think they did this as much in no, wait, never mind. They did it in Predator 2. There's a scene of him just walking by holding the gun in a ridiculous way just so he can flex. Yeah.
Arnie must flex. That's just how it goes.
It's part of the contract.
Anyway, the daughter and Bennett are just down there. She's hiding. I don't know. Arnie's just shooting people more and more. He kills the guy who made him kill someone by fucking blasting him in the fucking face with his shotgun that he picks up. I don't even know when he gets the shotgun, because he has like I don't know. He has like an M16, then a shotgun, then the M6T. It's just it's all kinds of, he's all the guns, dude. It's just fucking funny.
I guess the idea is he's not reloading, he's just switching weapons.
Yeah, I guess. It's just funny. He uses like probably like 10 weapons in this whole scene. It's kind of fun. But yeah, this guy gets his due diligence, gets shot to pieces. And then he makes his way to the boiler, because for some reason the daughter just yells, "Daddy!" I don't know why. Maybe because she thinks all the explosions is Daddy, and he hears that upstairs somehow. I don't know. Geometric from a location kind of thingy. I don't even fucking know how this all works, but you know what? That's just how it goes. Yeah, and then we got Bennett versus Matrix. And this is where Matrix gets shot for the first time in his shoulder.
Of course. Always
Finally.
the shoulder. Always. I mean, it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, I think it's just a glancing blow
Doesn't
even.
matter.
Well, I mean, doesn't it? No, he fights with his left hand for the whole knife fight.
Wait, does he?
Yeah. That's part of the things. It says, I only have one arm. You can beat me.
Still
I
fucks
thought
him up though.
Well, his right shoulder gets shot, so yeah, he uses
Yeah,
left.
well, I know. He's not using his right arm. Like,
Right.
he's the knife is in his left hand.
Yes.
Oh, all right. All right. My bad. I thought he was just didn't make much of a difference. I mean, it didn't stop him from grabbing the pipe and throwing it at
Yeah,
him.
no, I guess it healed at
I
that point.
forgot that he threw that. That was so funny.
Maybe
I
it
never
wasn't
did that.
really ever hurt, and when Bennett picks up the gun, he's like, "Okay, fuck you. I'm using the right arm now." You gave up your handicap when you drew a firearm.
Yeah. But yeah, he's like, I only need my knife. I'm gonna kill you now.
He goes super unhinged here. Yeah, he
Yeah.
goes big mad unhinged. I'm like, I'm better than you.
I don't need the gun. I'm gonna kill you now.
Famous last words.
Absolute tantrum.
Yeah, and then they just slice each other. Arnie gets sliced one more time. Two more
The
times.
fact that his ego is so fragile that Arnie actually got him to talk him into using the knife instead of the
Yeah.
gun.
His
Like,
sole
come
motivation
on.
is to prove that he's better than him.
Yeah, it's so
So-
like I'm comparing that to the Predator looking at Arnie and being like, "Holy shit, I'm losing to this thing." No, we're going toe to toe, bro, and actually wanting to duke it out. That's so much better than just blah. This guy just losing his mind and fucking being a bitch. Oh my god, Bennett the big bitch. That's what I remember him as.
It really is funny that the idea that they could even try to pretend like this is a fair fight.
It's really not.
Yeah, like, they'd have to blow his arm clean off, and I'd still pick Arnie to body this guy. Like, get out of here.
But yeah, but this
Yeah.
obviously this all leads to the big one-liner that is probably the most famous one from this movie.
Absolutely, I'd say. Even
Man,
though I'm on Fringy's team with the I lied being my favorite one.
But this is second best.
Yeah, he just fucking throws a pipe through him into like another steaming thing, and it steams in there.
Is it me or does he die twice in this fight? Like he gets electrocuted and they're like, nah, this isn't a good enough ending. Just bring him right back. Legit second win. He was totally fine.
Electrocuted while wearing a chainmail vest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought that was it.
That made him stronger.
Wait, did I do a typo in the title of the stream and nobody noticed except Wolf just now? I did.
Yeah, because you've got letting off some steam.
Yeah.
There it is.
Apparently X-Ray was shocked.
I blame every single one of chat for that.
Yeah, I mean, why didn't they say anything serious?
How did no one... Yeah, Wolf just randomly pulls up.
Give him a break. He's German.
That's so funny, man.
Well, Wolf just likes to call me
language,
retard,
okay?
so that's fine. I get it.
That was funny. Letting off some steam better.
the letting off some steam. But yeah, let off some steam, Bennett, and he just is there impaled, letting off some steam.
Dude, it's so funny, like, that he impales him to the point that the steam shoots out of his chest.
Yeah.
Like, God damn.
Yeah, this is... I can't believe this, man. Only in the 80s, man. This is just...
Yeah.
Like I said, a time capsule and, like, just one of those... a product of its time completely.
Dude, I mean, I think it's way better one-liner than "Go Back to Hell." Like, what was that one? Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, that was pretty lame.
Madness.
That was really
Go Back to Hell, and people said that was good.
Because Raimi reminded you of Raimi.
He made a movie called Drag Me to Hell. Haven't you seen Drag Me to Hell?
Yeah, I mean, Drag Me to Hell and Go Back to Hell are not the same statement, so I don't know why that would be worth praising. He didn't write the script either.
Yeah, believe me, I've had this conversation with
that
people.
movie is so fucked. It's so fucked. Like,
let off some steam. That's a good dude. You're fired. That one. You're firing the rocket. He's attached to it.
Also, no, Chad. I'm not going to play more Prey after this.
Now that
it's enough, Chad. It's enough streams for one day. Okay.
What would you say is your favorite Arnie films?
My favorite would be like Terminator 2, Predator, Terminator.
Yeah,
same.
I really like Total Recall as well.
Yeah, those would probably be my top 4 as well.
The 3 that were just listed are your top 4?
Well, I mean, like, if we want to keep going, I could probably rank them all, but like Terminator, Terminator 2, Predator, and Total Recall, I think are
you
his
just
best
gave me that
picks.
on a silver platter. I couldn't
So
help myself.
we're all agreeing this isn't his best film, right? I'm just throwing
yeah, no, it's not.
just get that out there.
It might be one of his funniest.
It might be one of his worst. I think for the people who think Arnie can't act are referencing this film specifically, because I've never had an issue with his performances. I think he does his job in Predator and both Terminator movies. Like, I don't think he's terrible.
I think he does his job well in this, because all he's doing is kicking ass and delivering one-liners. Like that's all they give him in the script.
Okay, to be doing his job, maybe that's not the right. I don't think he was well directed in this. Like this was like this whole movie felt like a fever dream of just like someone dreaming up an action movie.
I'm not going to argue against that.
And the performance really, like Dutch is so much more believable than Matrix to me.
This is quite early on in his career.
All he'd done are Terminator, the 2 Conan films, and Red Sonja, where he was basically playing Conan, even though it wasn't Conan.
But yeah,
the melting scene in Total Recall is like one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life.
Dude, Total Recall's got a lot of. You think this is the real Quaid? It is.
That movie's meme. So that movie's memeable as well. Well, but you can take it so much more seriously. It's not like I feel like this movie.
Much better story.
And
this movie crossed the line for me, where I'm like, oh my god.
The part where he grabs his arms and then they get chopped off. See you at the party, Rick.
That's the best. That actually probably is my favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger one line. See you at the party, Rick.
Okay, better question. Best Arnold performance.
Even
if it's a single sequence.
Let me just rewatch all the Arnie movies and I'll come back to you.
Yeah, I know. Because
Well, your personal pick.
He's really great in a lot of scenes in Terminator and Terminator 2, but like, also, is that his best performance? Like, that seems like a weird pick, right?
I think T2, him and John, like, it's not as simple as him being robotic. He played a robot and he played it well, and he played the dynamic of the father, and like he did even the little mannerisms he does. And his best one-liners are T2 for me. Like, he'll live. Like, that shit to me is like that's this shit perfected to me. Of like, T2 is so much better than this movie. Oh my god.
6 years after this, I guess, was T2. 91.
If anything, this movie just made me appreciate Terminator 1, 2, and Predator so much more. Nice. I fucking want to watch Predator right now.
Do it. It's a good movie.
And
but yeah, Bennett is dead. The army arrives. It's like, hey, you should bring your team back together and lead it. And he's like, no chance. And then they fly into the sunset with the plane they've stolen.
Happy family.
They don't really address the Grand Theft Arrow, do they?
No. Or her life. Like, do you not have a job and like a family to go back to, woman? Like, she's just...
No, she only has karate classes that she missed, and now
she saw those bulging biceps and said, "Fuck it, this is my
she's
life
like,
now.
I'm gonna do whatever I have to do to stay at this cabin with this family. Okay, I'm mom now.
This is my life now. Stop the child, everything."
Well, yeah, and that's the movie. That is the movie. It's very fun and very straightforward, and very silly. But man, it's just shocking almost when you go back to these old silly movies. Like, oh, but they still thought about it here in these instances. Like, oh, you get the flow.
Cared.
You understand.
The thing is, they felt compelled to justify why the story was happening, even if the justification was like pretty shallow or thin. They still felt like, well, we need stakes, we need a motivation, we need a general structure, we need to explain how the character gets where they get and why they get there. And ultimately, it's in service of facilitating a bunch of action scenes. But it is crazy that. Because really, like, in an ideal world, something like Commando should be considered like, well, I mean, you can do a lot better than this, right? In terms of like creating your story and still having all of the crazy bombastic action scenes, but like working harder to make the characters more compelling.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean,
that's the key for me, for sure.
Now, like, it's at a point where, like, at the very least, you know, Commando is somewhat coherent, and thus it's like it's easier to just sink into it and have fun with the action. And because the action's it's not like undermining essentially what is a pretty straightforward story.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to say earlier when you brought up Deadpool and Wolverine, because Deadpool and Wolverine is very much a and then movie. That's what I called it.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
That's the worst.
Which is a shame, because Deadpool 1 and 2 are actually pretty decent in terms of the Sorry?
I thought Deadpool 1 was fantastic.
Yeah.
Deadpool 1, I just remember being shocked at how well written it was. Not that I assumed there'd be action and some jokes here and there, but I was not expecting it to be like well written, like a good construction, and the way they put it all together was just really well done. I never bothered to watch the second one, and you guys like fucking Mauler obliterated many just to see the third one for me.
Yeah, like, I mean, seriously though, Deadpool 2 is honestly, it's better than most people remember. Yeah. And the kid that annoyed everybody he's not in very much of the movie. And it was like, oh, but that kid though, I was like, he's in like 4 scenes tops. Like, he's not really
something I've realized about the conversation is like those films are actually underrated. They're not underrated in that they weren't successful; they were very successful. They're underrated in that people don't seem to actually realize what their qualities were.
Yeah.
Because
that's the same for me. When I rewatched them, I was like, oh shit, that's actually like pretty good. Like, damn, and funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's even Daredevil. Like, there's so many people who didn't watch Daredevil and have been brainwashed by all this MCU bullshit that you wouldn't believe the quality of that first season in particular. Like, it's some of the best Marvel content ever made. I couldn't believe how good Daredevil was. Like, this is it. This is all I've ever asked for. Take it seriously. I've been begging since I was a little kid. Just take all this shit seriously, so I can watch it with people who don't give a fuck about this stuff, and actually have them take it seriously too.
No,
because that's my main criteria. Of like, I grew up with like a mom and a sister that will roast whatever I'm watching if it's crap. So I want it to be able to, like, I want what I'm watching to be quality enough to have appeal to other people as well. It shouldn't just be you have to know this comic and this superhero and this. I'm not a fan of that.
Well,
I like the fact that Logan is just a proper thriller. It happens to have, you know, Logan in it and Professor X.
Yeah, and a lot of one-off comic
that's all I
book
want.
stories and trades that people would do would be like that, where it's like you don't really need to know what the X-Men or like, I mean, I guess Dark Knight Returns is a good example for a Batman one of that. That's just like an Elseworld stories that's like we're picking up at 65-year-old Batman after he's been retired. Assume what you know about Batman roughly applies. Here's our story. And Logan
The
was
animated
one
one
of those. No. Well, I mean, yeah, but I more meant the comic. But yes, they did do an animated one, which actually I think Metal and I covered before I was co-hosting. But yeah, Dark Knight
I think
Returns
that's
the
fertile ground, man. Like from Logan to like, I would like to see Wesley Snipes' Blade get like a Logan type movie. With that
and
type
where
of
I was going to
quality.
go with that, though, to bring it back to Deadpool, is the way I've kind of been framing it, because I enjoyed a lot of Deadpool and Wolverine. I thought it was like a good theater experience and it was funny. And like, I don't know, it was dumb, but I still had fun watching it, even though it kind of makes no sense. And the reason I've been trying to tell people Deadpool 2 is one you shouldn't overlook is because there's kind of two Deadpool movies and one super meta parody movie about the MCU that features Deadpool. Like Deadpool and Wolverine is kind of not a Deadpool movie. It is just sort of a joke the entire time. Whereas Deadpool 2
so many
isn't
people
that.
have said that.
Well, because the thing though, people will say like, oh, but that dubstep joke in that's Deadpool 2. I'm like, yeah, but that's one scene.
Oh
and
no,
it's
that
an audio
dubstep joke. Meanwhile, all the other great jokes.
Yeah,
I don't know what I'm meant to do with that.
Yeah, watch Deadpool 2 again.
Did I Leave the Stove On didn't exactly land super well for me either, but that doesn't undermine from all of the other great jokes in the first one. Dude, the joke, I would never get over it. The joke where he spells out Francis's name in fucking Dead Guys.
Yeah, bodies.
Like, it's so unhinged. It's hilarious.
And he uses one of the guy that he spends a minute talking to, because apparently they'd done some like military or mercenary work together. And then he kills him and puts him in the Francis.
But it's I suppose the point again, as you said, Metal, and bringing it up is that I don't know, like it really is a sort of insane slide that when I think basically like nobody would be under any illusions as to what Commando is. Yeah. It's a bombastic action movie. It's crazy. It's a bit ridiculous. It's pretty straightforward. But like it's you know, like it's still broadly serviceable. And then it's there to facilitate these crazy, fun action scenes. But like that should be the flaw in a sense, not.
Yep.
Well, you know, it doesn't even need to make any sense at all. You can get your characters wherever you need them to be with no justification or rationale whatsoever.
Or make a self-aware reference, like, oh, I guess it's time for the big action scene.
If they have enough distractions, those components don't matter. They don't care about the structure of the story whatsoever. There's no rewatchability in those movies.
Well, I think what is frustrating is that it seems like the view is that if your objective is, if you have a very specific objective in mind for your film, like, and you know, for example, you just want to facilitate action scenes. That like, because you have accepted that as a goal, you have now no obligations to try and actually make it make sense.
Yeah.
As long as your action scenes are good, then it doesn't matter what the rationale is to justify them. You don't need any core framework to get you there, which is bad that that's something that's happened, right? It should be the case that you point to Commando and say like, dude, this is like the most basic way that you could do it, and you really should try to do better than this
is
as a goal.
Yeah, do more of this and less trying to complicate things to the point that you just say, yeah, none of this is making sense, but look at our action scenes.
All it does I think, is
sorry, just this is a quick point though. It's just the idea of when you're watching a movie's rules unfold, the immediate question the viewer has about the logic of the scene is given an answer in Commando, even if it's not a great one. So they're kind of saying, hey, here's something that satisfies that question you probably had in your head. It's not great, but whatever, we're moving on.
Like if you like it for the action will still be there. It's not going anywhere. But if you add logic to it, it's now going to appeal to a wider audience. I can watch it with someone who doesn't care about this stuff, and they're like, oh, that's not too bad. They're not going to roll their eyes at it completely. It's frustrating, and it's just that's what killed Game of Thrones. Like just not caring about the grounded elements and just there's so many things, but if there's of all the million things you can reference, and especially as a reference for people who haven't seen the series, they just understand armor and fighting. Jorah Mormont in season 1 uses his armor to deflect a sword blow and get a kill off of that. He uses his armor effectively, utility. And in season 8, he gets stabbed through his plate armor and dies. Like, it's like they just completely ignore the logistics. It's so bad. He is the character that showed us that armor is a thing in this show, and they just forget that.
The zombie that stabs him has a deep knowledge of how his chest plate was structured.
It's so stupid. Just ignoring armor and that type of shit is it drives me nuts.
But yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything to add to that. You guys fucking nailed it.
No, that's Commando. It's a really fun movie.
It really is. A big old time capsule. Also has like a lot of synth music, like old school synth music.
And a lot of steel drum.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I like to fucking hang the man who made the fucking soundtrack for this movie. Seize him.
That is a score where you can hear the cocaine in it.
Yeah, what were they thinking? They just splat that all over every scene.
This was a dude in a sound booth with a synthesizer just having a great weekend.
All kinds of drugs. All kinds of drugs and colors. Like,
hey, did you make our soundtrack for a movie? Yeah, sure. Here it is.
I made 4. Just stitched them together and we'll see.
You said this movie's not supposed to be subtled, right?
Yeah, it sounded like
it is. I got bad news about the score.
It sounded like 4 soundtracks fighting each other, like completely competing. It was the most terrible soundtrack I've ever heard in my life. It's pretty bad.
All right,
it was really distracting. No, I really found it so distracting. You know, from the opening scene where they're showing Arnie and his daughter, and it's like blah, 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 like all the fucking just like, what the hell are you doing? This is a calm like scene. Just let the man approach his child. Yeah, it was a really strange approach to have that soundtrack in it, but what can you do?
I don't know.
Actually, no way. You know what was worse? You know what was even worse? The fucking R&B in the Acolyte. The fucking the Power of Two R&B song.
I'll say absolutely the wacky score of Commando sets the tone for what you're about to see much better than any of the music in Acolyte did.
You know what? In retrospect, maybe you're right. Because at least they're warning you that this is going to be fucked, like just completely from the soundtrack.
Buckle the fuck up. We're going to have a 1980s thrill ride. 90 minutes and you're done.
Boy, oh
no, but
boy.
yeah, it again, like I said, a big part of the reason I was down for this, I'm like, you know what? This is a popular, famous movie that I've literally never seen. I'll be the one guy to be like the first watch, and I did not know what I was getting in store.
Good memes. Good
so
memes.
thank you, Metal.
You're welcome. You're welcome. We got 12 Months by Slumpy. Thank you for that. Is this movie more absurd than Last Action Hero? I don't remember Last Action Hero that well. It's been way too long.
No, it's not. Because Last Action Hero has just like known fantasy elements to it.
Right.
Like there's essentially magic going on.
Magica. Well. That's the schmovie for this week. Fun stuff. Thank you guys for joining us. It's been fun.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me on.
What's
always a pleasure.
Before we get out of here, Mr. Brooks, what are you up to? What's going on?
I watched The Acolyte with Mark because I'm like, I gotta suffer through this with someone, and we laughed all the way through. It was a good time, and then I got to the end, and I didn't think this show could piss me off or actually affect me in any way. And what they did with Soul is, I fucking hate that show. It's reached a level like it's not even just for memes and jokes and whatnot. They've crossed the line with me where it's like I hate it. As it's one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen. So I've got a video on Soul coming out in like maybe a day or two. Mark's got a thumbnail coming for me, and I'm just finishing up the copyright. Yeah. I rush shit out of this thing. It's normally don't make videos this quick, but I'm fucking furious with what they did with it. And I'm trying to make sure it's documented fully for a video where like, okay, hey, what about this Soul guy? You can click my video and get the full context, the full story, fully understand how they desecrated this man. And then once that's done, I got my Marvel movie video coming out soon. The top 5 one I've been working on for like fucking months.
Nice.
when we were recording the Loki EFAPs, I was doing the research for that video.
Oh shit! Okay.
That's how long I've been fucking doing this shit. But
yeah,
coming soon. It's coming soon.
Very well. Well, you find the link down below, of course. Go check it out. I'm sure it's gonna be fantabulous.
Fringy, what are you up to?
Yeah, Fringy.
You know, just working away. Nothing really to announce. Just working.
Well, we got an EFAP anniversary coming up this month.
That is coming out. Though I guess the next thing I'll be doing is the House of the Dragon finale. That's later today.
Yeah, that is tonight.
Oh yeah.
With,
yes, can't wait.
and Mubley and Ryan and whatnot.
Oh yeah, it's fun having you on there too, man. Get a different voice on there. That's like one of the best parts about watching this show is hopping right on and getting the coverage, just because you guys cover all the topics that I want broken down immediately.
I'm really excited for the
different
finale.
perspectives.
Oh,
I'm super excited.
That's gonna be.
I feel like
gonna be a lunch break tomorrow.
They're at a point with this season where like they need to tie everything together in a finale, and like it's really hard to judge the entire season until we get it. And this is such an important piece where I'm just like I'm so excited. It's like I really hope they nail it. And we'll just see where they go, because it's just interesting. Like the people on Twitter have been giving this show shit for so many different things. Like Damon's, I rewatched pretty much the whole season in the last couple of days, and
nice.
I think the Harrenhal stuff is way better on rewatch to me. I've enjoyed the season thoroughly, and I just really hope it ties up in a way where it makes everybody satisfied. Because just for the longevity of the show, I don't like hearing a lot of people like been hating on it specifically for that.
Yeah,
like, they just want to see action and dragons. That's it.
I was on the Epicverse, Epic Mike's stream, and Josiah's on Thursday, and I was the only one defending the Harrenhal scenes. I was so sad. I was like, guys, it's like some of the best stuff on the show.
What do people don't like about this? I just don't. I
think
they want Damon covered in blood, riding Caraxes, doing backflips and chopping people in half.
Yeah,
well, they'll get that eventually. Let him have his crisis
saying.
first.
Yeah.
That's what like you get. This show hasn't earned your patience. Like the things they're showing with Damon are so in line with this kid. Just go back to the fucking Air for a Day scene with him and Viserys. Damon's character is so misunderstood and so much more interesting than people give him credit for.
Like, it's that moment was the moment that broke that man.
It's so
we only would have got that through a sequence like this, and not only that, it's kind of given us the most cool stuff about Haunted Harrenhal too. Because in Game of Thrones,
I fucking love this shit.
The only ghost of Harrenhal thing was actually like
Jack and Agar.
Yeah, he was the only.
Fuck that guy.
So we explained that, and it's like, oh, so I guess people just die at Harrenhal, and it's easy to explain away. But it's like, no. Here, there's actually some shit going on. Like the weird.
This is way better because
sleeping in.
I was just like, yo, these guys are just trolling Tywin. Like, what the fuck? Like, all this shit is happening under Tywin's watch. I remember him coming in and seeing the dead guard and be like, guards! And I'm just like, imagine being Tywin and be like, what the fuck is going on here? You know? Because it's the one supernatural element of the show, and it's around one of the most serious characters. So it was so bizarre. But with this, it's just way better executed. And I love Simon Strong. He's one of my favorite side characters, like, ever. He's so good.
Good stuff. Yeah, looking forward to that finale, of course. Hell yeah.
Roughly 5 hours from now.
So, like, I don't know, 12, 14 hours for me? I don't know. I'm probably going to be, I'll be asleep when that comes out, so.
Well, I'll be in the chat, Fringy. I'm going to got some editing to do, and then I'm going to check that out for sure.
All right.
I might be a little late because I'm revolving around X-Ray Girls. Okay, it's time for us to watch the show schedule.
Right.
Good memes. Mark, what you doing? What you
I mean, right now I've just been chipping away at the Hades video. I have 6 more pages to record, but then I'm done with all the audio recording. Got to start audio editing, and yeah. Although I did beat the Extreme Measures 4 version of Hades, so it's the final boss now has a 3rd phase that's in the dark, and every single one of his combos has an extra tail on it.
Oh boy!
So you kind of have to relearn everything about the dodge patterns, because like, well, he's not going to just swing in a 360 that's really, really huge once. He's going to do it twice every time now, and you have to kind of drill that into yourself. But I think I got him on like the 3rd try, maybe 4th. But nice. Each one, because it's a roguelite, is you have to go through the whole game. So
of course, man.
It still took a while.
Absolutely. Well, good stuff. Looking forward to that. Obviously, all the links are down below. Go click the links. Click them hard. Well, as for me, I've officially started the visual editing of my video. Uh, I just realized that I'm really bad at time managing, and it's just, I don't know, just doing the normal work day and then also wanting to do more work after. That's just a thing I don't know, I'm
Oh my god,
not
dude.
struggling with, but just like, just the motivation. I don't have like this insane motivation like that other people do. I sometimes struggle with that, but you know, it is what it is. It is going forward, and
Hard balance, man.
I hope to be done with this month. So I'll probably very soon tell everybody what it is about. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a start of something. Let me put it that way. And my plan for after this, well, we got Rings of Power coming out in like a month, and I covered
Give it to me.
I covered it last year, and I will probably do so again this year. Don't worry, Mark. I'm not gonna make you watch it. You don't.
Oh,
have to
thank
watch
God!
It.
I was like,
The Rings of Power.
You have no idea how disappointed my heart was in that moment. I was like, oh fuck, am I gonna have to watch?
No, you're fine.
Rings of Power is what got me monetized, so I'm always gonna be attached to that show.
That's gonna be
Galadriel yelling at people.
It's gonna be a thing I do. I am planning to cover it week by week, on my own, not under the Forge banner, just on my own, doing a thing. I'm not entirely sure I'm gonna do it if I do it off the cuff or streams, or I don't know, maybe I'll try some quick videos or something that are less scripted. I don't know yet. I want to experiment a little bit to get more content out there that's a bit faster, because I don't know, I need to change something if I want to.
That's on my to-do list also. It's kind of I've got a video I'm also writing as well at the same time here. I'm gonna try to get a better turnover going.
But that's not. But yeah, obviously more streams. I'm gonna continue my Prey playthrough because I don't know. I consider my gaming streams part of the whole Metalcommander package, so those are not gonna stop, of course, because you know what? I like video games and streaming to people, and that's pretty cool. But yeah, there you go. That's been going on. I guess my next game stream is going to be tomorrow or on Tuesday. I gotta see what time brings. But also, well, I want to do more editing, and that's that. That's why I talked about earlier. I was like, I just got reminded how cringe the whole copyright protection thing is that I have to take care of.
It's hell. It's fucking hell. It's fucking. Bro, I've been editing my Marvel movie video for a month now. It's been done for so long, but it's just you got to go through all this shit. It's insane, man. Like, trust me, I feel your pain.
I guess I got kind of lucky with it because apparently all my things for Mahler's Fallout video, he said I didn't get any claims on any of them, and I just tried to stick to that 4-second rule. Like, don't show any clip for longer than 4 seconds.
4 seconds. I'm still going by like 5 to 7. I hope that's gonna work.
Oh, okay.
So, honestly, I 4-second rule, and then you get paranoid sometimes. Just chop that bitch in half, and like it's a bunch of 2-second clips.
Well, the thing is, I have some,
like,
I have some pieces, and like something in the beginning. Like if I switch, make it even shorter, it's just not going to be a coherent visual at all.
Well, yes, you can't trim it so much, especially if someone's talking.
I have a trick for that. So what you want to do then is try to cut out like a reverse shot or shorten each shot by like half a second, and then you can cut to another. You can cut to another part of the scene though, and that it seems to count as a new 4-second clip. So you can sometimes just do cuts of 4 seconds.
If you have one scene that
I'm
you're
sure
trying
you can't
to
get
show,
away with like taking out 3 frames, but if you take out an entire reverse shot or reaction shot, it's not too hard to condense what is a longer sequence of, I don't know, like maybe 15 seconds into 7, but like in 2 cuts, you know?
You chop it up and depending on the scene, because there's sometimes where like you chop it out and it just makes it completely incoherent now, and it just makes it really hard to, whether it's someone talking or any of the things you can do. So it just gets tricky. And one of the things I notice is no matter how much you chop it up, sometimes if you have a total amount, like a total percentage of the content, it's gonna flag you anyway, no matter how much you chop it. I realized that in my
that's something I heard from Mahler as well. It sounds like it's incredibly cringe.
In my Secret Invasion video, I broke down the fight with Bucky, Cap, and Tony, and having so much of that one fight, no matter how much you chop it up, if you have too much of the total content, they're gonna flag you anyway. So you have to get to the point where you just remove scenes and replace them with other things. And
yeah, I guess I wouldn't be privy to that aspect of it, like of the overall percentage.
Because sometimes having a big video can be a benefit because you can spread it out, but like a short video where you're hyper focused on just one scene, they're gonna clip you because you use so much of that one scene. Where no matter how much you chop it up, they're just gonna get you. It's so tricky. But I've learned that in my last few videos.
Right, changing speeds. That's another good thing. That helps you get things in the time frame you need them. Particularly slowing down because people don't notice it that much.
The point is, we shouldn't have to do any of this shit, and the YouTube copyright system is definitively unfair and just broken and insane.
Yeah,
Everyone
really
who talks
doesn't follow
about
the
it,
principles of fair use very closely, does it?
No. You have a whole podcast on that.
Oh well. There you go, and have a little complaining.
Yes, we
about
should wrap
YouTube
up
stuff.
this one.
There you go. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, guys. It's been fun, and yeah, we'll be back later, I guess. Okay, bye.
Take it
easy, everybody.